Okay.
The following program contains scenes and language of a frank and explicit nature. Viewer discretion is advised. In 5, 4, 3, 2, live now.
Don't know, Mike. I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, everybody, he's a macho. Savage, you're listening to Mike Trash, TrashTalkingRadio.com. The best in the business. Say it, the macho.
Wrestling fans throughout Radio Land, listen to Trash Talking Radio at TrashTalkingRadio.com. Every Tuesday from 7 to 10 o'clock. You hear guys like myself, the you Ganon guys, come on. That's my story.
You can hear words to describe the Trash Talking Radio Show from 7 to whenever we get done. It's like using a screwdriver. Trash, roast, beef. This is Slunavation, the other half of the rock and wrestling connection. That's the trashy one and the loony one together forever.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ivan Golub. I'm here to tell you about Mike Talking Trash. With the trash, 7 to 10. Tuesday nights, you got to listen in. It's the best around, the best in town. Alright, hey, this is the animal. One half of the world famous cake in the road warrior. We're gonna do. If you know what's good for you, listen. Trash Talking Radio, or else.
Everybody, you're watching Trash Talking Radio. What do you got to say about Trash Talking Radio? Well, I gotta say that I just bought Trash Talking Radio. You're out of the picture, dude. This is my show, and you better watch because what you gonna do when Hulk Hogan's brand new Trash Talking Radio runs wild on you?
This is the Vital Idol, and you're listening to Trash Talking Radio every Tuesday from 7 to 10 on TrashTalkingRadio.com. And remember this, when the Vital Idol tells you, it's got to be true. And when it's on the internet, it's got to be real. It's Trash Talking Radio every Tuesday from 7 to 10. I am the top of pop, the king of swing, the international rock star way above par, the host with the most, Mr. Tuesday Night, the Vital Idol, Classy Mike Trash, and thank you very much.
It's Trash Talking Radio. It's Tuesday night. It's the best night of the week. And here we are again. Hey, Doug, you're floating. I think I didn't do that right because somehow you're floating above the thing here. So I need to set the record straight. You do not know how to fly. Not correctly, anyway. So let me put you down where you belong. Let's see. How do we move you? We got to put this... Now people can see on the fly what I do. There. Now you're right. Feel any better?
I'm lower than you now.
Yep, that's because I'm the man.
But that should be, that's normal, right?
Well, yeah, I'm 6'2", and you're what, 5'2"? No, not really 5'2", but, you know. Anyway, how you doing?
I am fine, Mike. How are you?
I just started the thing up again. Hold on. Didn't mean to do that. Oh, let's get it back there. There we go. Okay. All right. Another day, another day. getting rid of my Prius this week. That's the big.
Why?
Because I don't really. We haven't driven that since I got my new car. She's been driving the old Tesla, and I drive the new Tesla, and there's no real reason to have it because it just sat here, you know. And I got a friend who needs a car really bad, and I figured I'd just give it to her and talked it over with the woman, and she said, "Yep, let's give it to her." So we're gonna give it to her.
That's nice of you, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't have any money and stuff, and I'd rather someone that, you know, could appreciate having a car, because she had her last car repossessed because she didn't have money for the payments. And I told her, you know, she's like, "Well, how much do you want for it?" I said, "Well, the one person that wanted it, I was going to sell it for $1,500, but I decided I'd rather give it to you." And you know, she said, "Well, what do I owe you for it?" I said, "Well, I'm not asking for anything from you. If you want to give me something for it down the road, you can, but you don't really have to." So that way she feels like it's not charity per se. If she wants to give something for it, she can, but she doesn't have to feel, you know, that she has to give me something.
Obligated to.
But I don't want her to feel like it's charity either, because, you know, some people are weird about that. So, you know, I don't need it. I mean, I bought it during COVID, so I paid a lot more than it was worth. But I just wanted to have a car for Christine to drive. So, anyway, so this weekend, I guess I'm kind of glad you weren't there, because people didn't like me this weekend, because I did something a little mean. Remember that big Bill guy that was at our show?
Yes.
And he won a belt. I think he won it. I think he may have won it when you were there. But if he didn't, he had a belt. He took it from Alex Rivera, and Alex is a really good wrestler. He's a third-generation wrestler, and he really is really, really good. He's probably going to be a star. Anyway, we kind of took it from him sideways. There was a battle royal. Last person standing won the belt, and he was the last person standing because Bill accidentally tripped over the. He was stuck on the rope, and we had an assist, and he ended up coming over the rope and losing his belt. So that's about the best I can say. Other than he's not happy. That's
what do they call it? The heel, right?
What's that?
What do they call you? The heel?
Yes, I'm a heel. And a very good heel, too. Let's just say I'm home. That's, I feel most at home when I get to be that persona. I mean, when I was doing the commentating, it was fun, but it wasn't me because, you know, they wanted somebody that is excitable, and I'm not. I always kept my cool, and I don't get excitable. And so they didn't like me on commentary, and I went in there and decided I want to be myself. So I get to wear my cool clothes. I get to, you know, be bad. So, and there was a lot of people that are really unhappy with me now. But, you know, Bill get over it, you know. He wasn't really happy when he lost the belt, but, you know. And I'd like to say I didn't have anything to do with it, but that's not necessarily the truth. I was going to show you the clip, but I didn't save the clip, so I would have to find it. But it's really a good. It was really a good match, actually, and I'm glad that we ended up with a belt. But anyway, that's another thing. Let's see here. All right, let's get into your favorite part of the show, the birthday part, and
birthday part.
I took out the people who I think you don't know, absolutely don't know. I think you should know I think you'll know everyone on this list. I don't know if you'll know their ages, but you'll know you've heard of everybody here. So that should be good. So we'll start with let's just start with Eddie Murphy. Everyone knows Eddie Murphy. And there is
Good old Eddie Murphy.
Here we go. There he is.
I'm going to say 59.
59. He is 65, so that is that's close enough. Now we got the gun-toting Alec Baldwin.
Gun-toting Alec. Who should be in jail.
Who should be in jail, yes. According to us, he should
60,
be in jail.
65.
Believe it or not, he's 68. This one, I don't know that you'll know him, but you probably know who he is. David Hyde Pierce. He was on, what was this stupid show, the psychiatrist show? He was the brother of the guy from...
Oh, he was the brother of Fraser Crane.
Yeah.
Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah, yeah.
Boy, he's changed. He's aged.
Yes, he has aged.
Boy, I'm going to say 69.
69, 67. Yep, you got it. Then we got Paul Rudd. He's the one you may not know, but you might know once you see him. If you saw the Ant-Man shows and some of the, I forget what else he was in, but he was in a lot of things.
49.
57.
Wow. Okay.
Billy D. Williams. He was in Star Wars.
Oh, yeah. Long time ago.
Yes,
I'm going to say 71.
Far, far away.
Right, a long time ago. Yeah. 71.
What'd you say?
71.
He is 89.
Wow.
I thought the same thing. I was like, wow, what happened there? I mean, but you think about it, he was on one of the first Star Wars, so
yeah,
he's been around for a while. All right, let's see here. Who else we got? I got, you may not know him. Okay, this is the one you don't know, probably. Michael Rooker. Now, he was in a bunch of things, but he's known for Guardians of the Galaxy. He was also the older brother in Walking Dead of Daryl, but you probably didn't watch that. He's been in a whole bunch of different things, though.
Boy, I'm going to say 82.
He's 71.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
You have a hard time with the...
better than I thought.
The blue guy, when he turns blue, he looks older. Let's see. Did you watch Cheers?
Yeah, I watched Cheers.
Okay.
Sure.
How about John Ratzenberger?
Oh, the Postman. Boy, that's a long time ago. So I'm going to say 78.
He is 79, so close enough. Mary Lou Henner from Taxi.
Oh, okay. I'm going to say she's on Taxi. She's got to be.
Keep in mind, that 85. Was in the 70s. That was in the 70s.
85.
85, up 74.
74.
Francis Ford Coppola, the director, who is actually the uncle of, what's his name? Anyway, I can't think of his name. It's on the tip of my tongue. He's, oh, wow, I can't think of his name. Anyway, I'll think of it later today.
85.
He is 87, so that's a win. Russell Crowe. Hold on.
Russell Crowe.
Here he is.
Yeah, he's got to be 71.
He's 62.
Okay.
And lastly, but not leastly, Jackie Chan.
68.
He's 72, so you're within the couple. So, hey, you did pretty good.
Yeah.
I think there was really only one person that you probably didn't know by name. So that wasn't too bad. All right, now next thing. Oh, wanted to show you something cool. So how am I going to show this? Oh, I know how I'll show it. Okay. So I decided I was going to try something different for the promo of the bands. And here is what I'm using. I made an app that you can scan the app. And when you scan the app, you get this. That's the scan. That's a QR code for this band. And here's the info on the band. And if you want to listen to tracks, you hit this button. If you want to contact us on email, if you want to contact us on phone, and there's all the information on the band. Here's the other band.
Cool.
Here's the other band. There's the other band. And this one's really cool because this one goes right to YouTube. But you get to see the band, you find the information on the band, and then you've got tracks and you got YouTube. And you got this QR code too. Phone for bookings and email for more info. And then there's
go ahead.
Well, there's also our Facebook page. So I wanted to do something that would. I like this idea because instead of, if you give someone a business card, they're going to throw the business card away. You give them a QR code, curiosity makes them go there, and then they'll see everything they want to see.
When are your next play dates?
I don't have anything in April, but I do have something at the beginning of May, and then in June.
When in June, do you know?
I'll tell you. Let me look. It is May 15th, and then there's June 6th. They're both in Shippensburg.
Okay.
Then we're going to play August 28th at a bowling alley in Carlisle. It's kind of cool. Day after my birthday. So that's my upcoming dates. So guess I should have this one up since this is the one that's playing next. We don't have any dates for the one band. But now that I got the promo ready, there's no reason not to be able to book us. I also wanted something that like is universal, as things change, if I get better demos, I give them better demos on the phone, and all they do is they just, we go in there, say, hey, we're such and such a band, we'd like to play here, and if they want to say, well, we want to hear you, just give them just say, scan this with your phone, and you'll have all our information, and you'll be able to hear us play. I didn't put dates on there because we don't have enough dates to really do anything. But I mean, we have like what do we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. We got 6 dates for the one band, and the other band has 1 date. So, but I just think it would be if you want to get booked, all you got to do is, or if you want to book us, you got all our information there, and it goes right to our guys. So I kind of like it. I'm going to do one of those for the school too. I'm going to put all our information on pricing and all that stuff on there, and they can come to, if you're interested in the band, then they scan the band stuff in there, and then they talk to somebody about training. So I'm trying to modernize our marketing. So I think that's about as modern as we get. And I didn't see anybody else. I don't see any other bands doing. Well, I don't know. There's probably other bands doing this, but I knew I had the idea, and the idea was I was just going to give people a QR code to check out our music. I didn't think about, when I thought about this, I thought, well, why can't I just make this is a virtual business card. Why can't I just do a virtual business card? Well, I can, and I did. So that's the cool part, is that now other people hopefully will see the power of this, and hopefully other people will do it. I like being on the cutting edge.
You're on the edge, all right.
I've been to the edge. There I stood and looked down. That's a Van Halen song. All right, next thing. Let's see. Here we go. All right. We talked about the sonic boom last week, I think, didn't we?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why that didn't get removed. It should have been removed. All right. So I can take that out. I must have forgot to delete it. All right. Well, did we talk about the restart of the nuclear power plant on 3 Mile Island?
No.
Ah, okay, there's something. I don't feel good about this, but we originally said it was going to go to Facebook, right? Or Meta,
Yeah.
Meta, I think.
Microsoft. Meta.
Well, I think it is going to go to Microsoft. Let me double check this. It says the crane restart remains on track for the second half of 2027, and we continue to expect to deliver energy to the grid at that time. Constellation Energy is the place is who is going to have it. It says here the former 3 Mile Island nuclear plant in central Pennsylvania, known as the Crane Clean Energy Center, would likely not be able to connect to the power grid until 2031. 2031. Okay, so we're 2020. Okay, so that's 5 years. It says here, my people will have this plant ready to start in 2027. I guarantee it. We will have to make sure that PJM and the local utilities get in or connected to the grid on that timeline. Yeah, it doesn't say any particular one. It doesn't say like Microsoft. It doesn't say that it's that it doesn't. It says the power company, a power company. So Constellation. So I guess Crane Clean Energy Center is what it's known as. So I don't know.
Clean energy is a misnomer.
Yeah.
It's only clean if it doesn't leak.
That's right. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking the same thing, but I didn't want to say it that way. But yeah, it scares me a little bit.
Well, after what we went through,
I've been watching some YouTube stuff on geothermal stuff, and I'm really amazed at that. You can have geothermal relatively cheap in comparison to what you're getting back. And of course, up here it wouldn't be that easy because where I'm at, there's a lot of rocks. There are rocks so deep. I remember when they put my fence up, I had it put up twice. The first time the guy complained about it being rocky. Second time I had to replace that fence because it was, it was falling apart because it was about 15 years old or whatever. And then the second guy, he went to put the new posts in, and he started complaining about the same thing. And I thought, well, why didn't you just use the old posts? You had to put new posts in. Well, of course, it's going to be a real pain to do. So I think that if I had land that wasn't as rocky, I'd be looking at geothermal because it's really a really perfect solution for heating and air conditioning your house at a reasonable price. So, I don't know. I may end up doing that at some point or not. So, okay, so that's that. Then we got MLB started their season, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're in their back the fourth or fifth series.
Yeah. That's crazy. It's funny how, I don't ever follow it, but I'll tell you, I went to a couple games when we were in college. Our friend Rob took me to a couple games, at least one. I think maybe more than one. And I didn't think I'd like it, but it was actually pretty interesting to watch live, especially. So I wouldn't.
Well, it's a sport that's much better live than it is on TV.
Absolutely. I really thought, wow, this is really cool. I didn't think I'd like it, and I actually enjoyed it. And I didn't know any of the players or anything. I just kind of thought it was neat. So, the MLB is back. Let's see here. I don't really follow baseball, so I don't really know what's going on, but I knew it was back. Okay. Then, let's skip that. Let's get to the good stuff. ESPN is in trouble. Let me get this up here. As long as it opens. Hopefully it opens. There we go. Always. Need to open. Oh, you couldn't open my. Why not? Darn it. Doesn't like this. How do I do this? I could probably do this. Okay, let me figure this out. I can take that and put that in. Well, no, I just do this. Okay. Okay, open up. ESPN moves to compel arbitration in WWE PLE lawsuit. So when WWE moved away from Peacock to ESPN, ESPN decided they were going to charge people an exorbitant amount of money to watch the pay-per-views, which we were used to getting for free. And even before they put it on Peacock, it was on the WWE network, and you got it for, I think it was $9 or $10 a month, and you got to all the pay-per-views. So they went to ESPN, and ESPN was charging $40 for the pay-per-views or something like that. And so now there's a lawsuit. It says ESPN has filed a motion to intervene in a class action suit against WWE over premium live events, which are also known as PLEs. If you ever hear someone on WWE saying our PLEs, that's their big pay-per-views instead of their weekly shows. That's like our monthly shows, or I'm sorry, their monthly shows, not their weekly shows. That's like our weekly. We have our weekly shows, and then we have our monthly show once a month. And actually, we patterned that after them. So, but anyway, according to the documents referenced, the lawsuit originally named only WWE as a defendant. ESPN now seeks to enter the case to compel arbitration under subscriber agreement. The move suggests that the network wants the dispute handled outside open court through contracts arbitration. And it says through Thurston reported. Who's Thurston? Did we determine who Thurston was? I didn't see his name anywhere. Anyway, reported the plaintiffs did not include ESPN as a defendant to avoid arbitration clause in ESPN's subscription terms. By moving to intervene, ESPN seems to be challenging that strategy. The network's memorandum of law in support of its motion is available in the public court. Now, I got to say something weird about this. Is really a strange thing. Who's your cable company out there?
I don't even know. I don't have cable.
Oh, okay. Well, ours is Xfinity. And Xfinity, strangely enough, gave me free ESPN network. So I can now get all, supposedly, I haven't tried it yet, supposedly I get all the PLEs for free. And that's a big value. That's like $40 per month just for the pay-per-views, and that's what I would use it for. So if that is true, and I'm going to watch WrestleMania on ESPN, if it's true, that saves me a ton of money. And I'm really fascinated by the fact that they decided to give me free ESPN because I didn't ask for it. I've never watched ESPN a day in my life. So it's kind of interesting that they offered that to me. So I'm going to see what happens for WrestleMania because it's coming up. Really interesting.
Yeah,
that's why I was wondering. So what do you just watch stuff on the internet?
no, I have YouTube TV.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's what
Stream.
I mean, I probably should do that because I have yet to watch. I mean, all the stuff that I need to watch is available. Like I watch HBO, which I could get a contract with HBO Direct. I watch Peacock, which I can get direct. And those are really the only channels I watch, are those two channels for the most part. And so I could probably have cable for, what, $50 a month or something if I want us those. So, I don't know. And plus I get, I would still get YouTube because I pay for YouTube because I don't want commercials. So that would be enough for me. I don't really watch a whole lot of different things. Everything I watch is on one of those services. But anyway, yeah, it's curious. I'm really curious as to, whether or not that's going to give me free stuff on ESPN or not, or if I'm going to be surprised because I'm going to be charged exorbitant amounts for that pay-per-view. Because, nothing's free. But if it is free, that's cool. So, all right. Next thing. Okay, so that's the arbitration. So I can get rid of that. Then we got... Now I got to figure out what this was. I don't remember what it was. Rock legends may be reconnecting after years of tension. Oh, I know what that is. 70s rock legends are going to be... This is exciting to me. It's cool. Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham from Fleetwood Mac are going to be touring together. That's cool. I always thought Lindsey Buckingham was awesome. I always liked Stevie Nicks. And those two together, I mean, if we can't have Fleetwood Mac, I'll take those two. Besides, one of them is what's her name is dead. Christine McVie died, I think. So the only one left, that left is Mick, isn't it? I think it's she. Yeah, that would be the only one left. Wow, there must be heat between Lindsey Buckingham and Mick. Huh. All right, now. Now I live in PA, and we have this issue with idiot drivers that like to... I mean, I have been an aggressive driver to a certain degree, but not anything like the guys I'm seeing drive on the turnpike. Some of these guys, they zoom in and out like crazy. I would not do that kind of crazy stuff. And they are dangerous. They're going to take and crack down on the turnpike for, I guess, the aggressive drivers. And then the toll violators, man, I think mine straighten out now. They kept trying to... It was mostly New Jersey that was the issue, but I did have one recently from Pennsylvania that said that I was owing them money, and I don't know why I was owing them money because they replenish my turnpike pass all the time. So I put out like $180 a month in turnpike fees, and I can't believe they can't get that together. But anyway, they're going to be cracking down on the aggressive drivers and the unpaid tolls, and fortunately, I'm not either one of those. So, this is sad. Now, you were a guard at one point, right?
Yeah.
Did you guard at Camp Hill?
I wasn't a guard. I was a treatment specialist. No, it was Dauphin County.
Dauphin County. Okay, well, Camp Hill had these two prisoners in Camp Hill who died by suicide as the cameras watch. They have 2 cameras on these guys, and there's no reason. I mean, there is a reason because they obviously died. Omar Marlowe and James Campbell were supposed to be under close observation while incarcerated. Both men were put in cells in Camp Hill with cameras inside. Both men died by suicide while those cameras rolled. The State Department of Corrections declined to answer questions about how these deaths happened. Advocates say the deaths raise significant alarms that there are serious deficiencies at state prison near the Capital City Mall. And the first death was on August 2nd, 2025, when Marlowe was found in his cell with a small strip of his bed sheet tied around his neck. Marlowe's body shows signs of visible livor mortis in his back and rigor mortis in his legs, according to the investigation. Livor mortis can appear within 30 minutes of death, but rigor mortis doesn't typically develop until legs are at least 2 hours after death. So for at least 2 hours, nobody saw it. Why do we have cameras if nobody's watching them?
Well, it's the quality of the guards.
Yeah.
And you have quality guards.
And they need to be held accountable, I think.
Yes, they do.
And that's, I don't understand how that could happen. The second one was less than 6 months later. Campbell was found, he was 46, he was found hanging from a bed sheet in his cell. Hall again confirmed that that Campbell was on the same block as Marlowe in an observation cell with a camera. Campbell was found hanging in a cell wearing anti-suicide smock given to incarcerated people in exchange for standard uniform when the person's considered a risk at attempting suicide. Now, I will say this. This sounds cruel, but if somebody really wants to commit suicide, you're not going to stop them. You may stop them temporarily, but they're not going to be stopped. And Hall said Campbell used a piece of paper to cover the camera in his cell, and that the corrections officers immediately responded. Well, apparently they didn't do very good if he died. It says this would mean Campbell was able to cover his camera, fashion a ligature out of his bed sheet, hang himself, and suffer lethal injuries before staff arrived at his cell. When pressed regarding how much time it took staff to reach Campbell's cell after he covered his camera, Hall said his office was focused on determining cause and manner of death, directed to the question of the Department of Corrections. The death of anyone in mental health observation cell raises serious concerns. A third person died by suicide in February. So they've had 3 people die there in the past year.
You would think after the first one,
right,
the other guards would be totally on top of their game.
Right. That to me
Which again will tell you the quality of the guards.
Right.
That is a concern of mine. I worked for 2 years in Dauphin County Prison. Some of the guards were of the same mentality as the inmates. There was no difference.
Yeah.
Just who was on which side of the cell.
I don't get it. I really don't get it. There's no real good reason for them not to be on, not paying attention to that. Yeah. I don't know. That just is bizarre. So, all right, let's see. Did you ever watch Survivor?
I think I watched about 6 shows of one season.
I've never watched Survivor, but there's a controversy with Survivor. Like, there needs to be a controversy. But anyway, the first Survivor winner is ordered to pay $3.3 million in back taxes for his show winnings. And considering he only won $1 million, that's a lot of money. Federal judge says Richard Hatch has to pay $3.3 million in back taxes and interest, bringing a major development to the 25-year legal dispute over his winnings in the inaugural season of Survivor. U.S. District Judge John McConnell Jr. issued a final judgment clearing the way for the IRS to collect the debt stemming from the $1 million prize he won in 2000 when he became the first champion. Man, that would suck to win $1 million and you decide that you're not going to pay taxes on it and then have to owe $3.3 million on that. That's a stiff penalty.
What in the world could have been his case?
I can't even imagine. If you got the money from winnings, the first thing you do is pay the taxes before you blow the money. Just really weird. Gotta turn this up just a hair. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know, and I don't understand why he would be. I
have spent 25 years trying to do the right thing in a complicated situation.
Yeah.
And I remain committed to receiving this matter, resolving this matter fairly. He must have had some reason, but I can't imagine what it was.
Me neither. Who would have thought? I mean, that's just crazy stuff. I think it's weird to think that you spend your life trying to get to a point where you can make money and be independent, and this guy had the money. You can live on $1 million for a long time. I don't know that you could live in it for the rest of your life unless you invest it. But yeah, I think that so that's, I don't know. I think that was definitely a weird way to deal with it. There we go.
I wonder if they did 3.3 million because that's what he had in the bank.
That maybe that is it. Well, I think they have all kinds of. I'm thinking they have all kinds of like fines if you don't make.
It's the interest.
Yeah, yeah. Or the fines, because they say, hey, if you don't pay your taxes in a certain period of time, I don't know. That seems like a really bad move for that guy, though. And he had to know. I mean, what are we looking at? 26 years or whatever that he's owed this money. You got to believe that he knew he owed the money. So why didn't he just pay it and be done with it? And I just think it was really a poor choice on his part. So, some people just think it'll go away if you don't pay attention to it. Okay, next. North Korea missile test missile the country claims can reach the. Okay, so there's supposedly maybe I'll hold this for yours. Do you have something on it on North Korea missiles?
No, do it now.
Okay, North Korea missiles test missiles the country claims will reach the U.S. mainland, and Kim Jong-un observed a test of an upgraded solid fuel engine for weapons capable of reaching the U.S. mainland. Now, we haven't heard anything out of North Korea in a long time.
Well, except that he keeps on dragging his granddaughter out.
Well, yeah.
His daughter out. Other than that, we haven't heard anything for a while.
And I would prefer that to us having something else going on, because at least that's well, other than he wants his granddaughter to run the country at some point, I think.
That's right.
Which will be, kind of earth-shattering because women aren't allowed to do anything in Korea. So,
right.
I don't know. I would have thought that made him a kindler, gentler North Korean leader, but maybe not. I mean,
all we need is a missile that can strike the U.S.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had any kind of intervention, haven't needed to have the intervention. So, are they on the side of Iran?
Yes.
Okay.
It's them, Iran, Russia, and China.
Okay. Well, that would explain it a little bit, but I mean, we haven't heard a peep out of them in a long time. So then I have a sea country missile ranges. So this is a map, I think. There we go. So we got China over here. Let's see, what's that look like on the screen? Oh, it's above my head. Let's move it above my head here. So there's where China can go. Then we got this is well, that's just China too. Here's Iran. So Iran's nowhere near us, so we're good there.
No, but it can hit Europe. It can hit Paris and Berlin.
Oh well. Oh well. I better them than us. But they got nice guided anti-tank missiles, long-range strike missiles, ballistic and cruise missiles. Jeez. That's crazy. But the idea that they have or talk about having missiles that could hit the U.S. mainland, that's a little scary. So, unless they could be just saying it. We never know.
No, I think that's true.
Do you? Okay.
I don't think Kim Jong-un would lie about that.
Yeah, probably not. Then we got... Four masked men stole 3 paintings worth over $10 million from the Magnani Rocca Foundation outside of Parma, Italy. These thieves reportedly entered the museum through the front door on March 22nd and stole Paul Cézanne's Still Life with Cherries, Henry Matisse's Odalisque on the Terrace, and Pierre Auguste Renaud, I don't know, it's called Les Poisons, which are alone worth $7 million. A fourth piece was left behind after an alarm was triggered, prompting the men to flee, climbing a fence. Officials said the heist was a highly coordinated, and lasted only 3 minutes. The museum remained open, keeping the news of the theft from the public for a week. No suspects have been identified as of this writing. Ooh, man. It's hard to believe that people are gutsy enough to do that. And then we got, let's see. Oh, let's see. There's been a multiple sclerosis breakthrough. Did you hear about that?
No, I did not.
All right, let me get that information. It says, let's see here. Because, I mean, do you remember, is that what Jerry, what's his face used to do the things for, multiple sclerosis?
Jerry
Lewis. Yeah. Is that what he did?
I think so.
Well, maybe this helped him. Neurosurgeons have discovered a new mechanism contributing to multiple sclerosis, opening an additional path to treating the chronic neurodegenerative disease. MS is a condition in which the immune system attacks the protective coating known as the myelin around the individual nerve cells, disrupting central nervous system functions throughout the body. While researchers have long focused on protecting the myelin sheaths, a second process also occurs. Neurons in the brain cortex, the outermost layer of gray matter, which controls higher level cognition, also die. The new research reveals that chemical reactions caused by inflammation significantly damage the DNA of gray matter neurons, leading to cell death. The result suggests focusing solely on the myelin solely on the myelin is insufficient to treat the progressive symptoms of the disease. There's no current cure, and the condition is typically diagnosed by the appearance of white lesions in the brain. But that's probably the first time that I've read new stuff on that in ages. So maybe we are going to finally see that happen. All right. All right. So Tiger Woods said there's no excuse, and he suggested he be put in jail. Oh, I'm sorry. The Dave Portnoy blasts the golfer, suggests he should be put in jail on the latest DUI bust. There's no excuse. Tiger Woods skipped the Masters, says he's seeking treatment, and that's about the newest, I think, on him. So he's been in all kinds of trouble. You would think that someone that
would have intervened, but when you're when you're rich like that, you don't have anybody around you that isn't a yes man.
Right. I'm thinking his dad must not be around anymore either, because his dad used to keep him in check, I think. Oh, this is cool. Robot umpire makes its first MLB game-ending call, giving Baltimore Oriole pitcher Albert Suarez his first major league save in 9 years. Orioles beat Rangers 8-3. So that's kind of interesting that they had a robot umpire. That's very cool.
Well, what they do is it's electronics.
Okay.
And you can challenge a play.
Okay.
And the umpire can look at the and then upstairs can call down and say whether it was a strike or not.
That's kind of cool. Use technology, That's what it's there for.
Using technology, that's what it's there for.
So do you know where the Easter Bunny tradition comes from?
I should, but I don't.
You don't? Oh, wow. I'm surprised you don't. Usually you usually know that kind of stuff.
Usually I do, but I can't remember.
All right, here's how the end of Lent celebration became famous for a hippity-hoppity rabbit. For Christians, Easter marks the end of Lenten season and the resurrection of Jesus on Easter Sunday. But the spring celebration is much more than that for the young children. It's a day full of Easter egg hunts, chocolate bunnies, Easter baskets, crafts, and more. And while all those traditions come with a question from curious kids, but none more than where does the Easter bunny come from? The legend is that the Easter bunny is a long-eared, furry, cotton-tailed creature who hops from house to house to deliver candy-filled baskets. There's more to his history you might not be familiar with. In fact, the Easter bunny's association with this special Christian holiday dates back to pagan traditions. As Christians probably already know, the Bible makes no mention of a mythical hare that produces eggs for children on the day of Jesus Christ's resurrection. I didn't know that. So why exactly has... I was looking forward to the Chosen segment that they was going to talk about the Easter Bunny.
Easter Bunny, yeah.
Yeah. I figured that would be in...
That's coming up next season.
Okay, I was wondering about that, because, we still have to cover Santa Claus, too. Anyway, so why exactly has a rabbit become a prominent part of one of Christianity's most important celebrations of rebirth and renewal? One theory, according to Time, is that the symbol of the rabbit stems from an ancient pagan tradition on which many of our Easter traditions are based. The festival of Eostre, I guess that's Eostre, maybe?
I don't know.
It's Eostre. Which honored the goddess of fertility and spring. The goddess animal symbol was a rabbit, which has been long associated with the fertility due to its high reproductive rate. As to how the character of Easter Bunny made its way to America, it was first introduced in the 1700s by German immigrants to Pennsylvania. Hey, guess what? That's my family.
Yeah. That's my family too.
Who reportedly brought over their tradition of a egg-laying hare named Osterhaus or Osterhals from the old country. Legend has it that the rabbit would lay colorful eggs as gifts to children who were good. So the kids would make nests in which the bunny could leave his eggs and sometimes even set out carrots in case the hare got hungry. Remind you of any other holiday traditions? Eventually, the custom spread across America until it was widespread Easter tradition. Over time, the fabled bunny delivery expanded from just eggs to include other treats such as chocolate and toys. Easter baskets have only gotten more and more elaborate over the years, as one trip to the store this year will tell you. Why does the Easter Bunny bring eggs? Some rabbits, since rabbits are mammals and gave birth to live young, it would seem like a case of mistaken biology to say that the Easter Bunny lays eggs on the holiday. Another miracle to the festivities, perhaps? The answer may be in combining the different iconography? I don't know. Iconography, whatever that is. Eggs, just like rabbits, have long been considered an ancient symbol of fertility, rebirth, and new life, all associated with springtime celebration of Easter. From a Christian perspective, Easter eggs represent Jesus' resurrection and his emergence from the tomb. The tradition of decorating eggs for Easter may date back to the 13th century, where eggs were traditionally considered a forbidden food during the Lent season. That's why people decorate them as the fasting period came to the end, making them an even more celebratory way to feast on Easter Sunday. Okay, that all makes sense, kinda. Kinda. Today, the Easter Bunny is depicted as a white rabbit with long ears, often wearing colorful human clothes. You'll typically find one at the Easter parades, mall kiosks, and other celebratory events for the holiday, often carrying a basket filled with colorful eggs, chocolate, candy, and other treats to give out to the kids, just like Santa Claus on Christmas. So, that's, apparently other countries do acknowledge the Easter Bunny, too. Japan does not. It says, despite the prevalence of a bunny, it's not always a rabbit that brings Easter eggs in countries outside the U.S. However, one exception is Japan, which adopted the American version of the Easter Bunny into a popular culture. In Australia, one example, the spring holiday is marked by the Easter bilby, an endangered rabbit-like marsupial native to the country. Other animals, gift-giving animals, include the Easter... what is a cuckoo in Switzerland and some other parts of Germany. Oh, man, that's really wild to think that there's a cuckoo rabbit. I mean, a cuckoo bird, I guess. Let's see, let's see where we at here. Easter cuckoo. Oh, okay, in other parts of Germany, the Easter fox or the Easter rooster. In Sweden, the Easter witch named Pakaring, who hails from an ancient cultural tradition. And in Russia, it's the dogs who lay the Easter eggs, not the bunnies. So if you want to branch out this year, those are places to start. So there you go. That's funny. All right. There was one other Easter thing I wanted to say, and then I can let Easter go. Where's it at? I did have Easter. Well, you could talk about where the meaning of Easter for Christianity. But let's see, I think it was, how much money do you think they spent this year on Easter?
Oh, man, no idea. Millions.
It's an obscene amount of money. I'm trying to find it. I have it here somewhere. Oh, here it is. They were projected to spend $25 billion on Easter.
$25 billion.
But I think it was more than that. I think the actual number, which I did have that. Where'd I put it? It was just a really crazy amount of money. Here it is. It came out to $195.59 per person. A new record. Do you believe that?
Well, until you buy the costume, until you rent the costume, until you buy all the candy for a gazillion kids.
Well, yeah. I mean, I figure if, let's say you had 4 kids, you're spending $50 a kid, or something like that. It's just crazy. I never would have thought of that. And here we are, days before Easter, burglars stripped copper from a Harrisburg church, causing $180,000 in damage. $180,000 for copper. That's just crazy. And it's an old church too. It's like, I mean, I've seen that church. That's one of the. That's a historic church there.
That's an historic church.
Man, I just can't imagine. Like, if I was a criminal, I wouldn't steal from a church. I mean, because even if you don't believe in God, you got to believe in some kind of karma. So, stealing from a church wouldn't be anything I'd want to do. But
yeah, but it's easy because nobody may be in it during the week.
Right? Yeah.
So they had all week.
But how much copper is $180,000, or damage is $180,000? It wouldn't be, but still, that's.
Well, they probably weren't neat when they ripped it out.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm going to turn it over to you now.
Well, we have a ceasefire.
We have a
2-week ceasefire between Iran, United States, and Israel.
Interesting.
Tonight at 8 o'clock was supposed to be the elimination of an entire civilization.
Wow.
And now there's a ceasefire. So, and even there are talks were ongoing regarding a potential in-person meeting between America and Iranian officials. It just came across the wire when we started tonight.
Wow.
So, I don't know if I want to rip the president or not, but I think I will anyhow. So if there's anybody new listening, I usually don't rip the president because I don't like ripping presidents.
Right.
But I will do this time because what he did was I didn't like, and a lot of other people don't like it. So Trump posted on Tuesday. He posted that Tuesday will be a power plant day and bridge day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the effing straight, you crazy bastards, or you will be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah, President Donald J. Trump. Well, let's just say, first of all, I want to say, if that was any other world leader, we think he was crazy, losing control, and not having a grasp of the current situation. World leaders don't talk like that.
I agree.
Open the effing straight, you crazy bastards. Yeah, my main complaint with President Trump is his mouth. Not necessarily what he does, but his mouth. He doesn't have a... He's got
a major ego.
But it gets worse. Iran's response was, "You reckless moves are dragging the U.S. into a living hell for every single family, and our whole region is going to burn because of you, insisting on following Netanyahu's commands. Make no mistake, you won't gain a thing through these war crimes." So, This guy named Danny Kritzowitz said that the prospect of a negotiating stalemate settlement with Iran, at least in the current conditions, is non-existent. Well, we have an agreement. So the rest of this is not apropos. However, let me just quote you what he said yesterday.
Okay.
A whole civilization will, no, today he said this. A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have a complete and total regime change where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionarily wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight. One of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the people of America, of Iran.
Wow.
Death to an entire civilization. That is an intent of genocide. It's a war crime. Now, he may not have meant it that way, but that's what he said. He was speaking of genocide of the entire Iranian population.
That's crazy.
And according to the world war law, combat law, conflict law, that is genocide.
Yeah.
And genocide is illegal. It's a war crime.
Sure. Wow.
And this is my point. We should be held to a higher standard than that. Iran has been yelling death to America for 47 years. That's genocide. They're talking about genocide. We should not stoop to their level. We should be above their level. We should be better than them. It just frosts me that we have a president that doesn't understand that. Now, like I said, I voted for the man, and I back him a lot, but not on this.
Right.
I cannot back him on his mouth and his ego.
I believe that.
So, he, see, here's the thing. He's going to go after power plants, rail lines, manufacturing plants, which he's already going against, roads and bridges. If they're dual use, do you know what I mean by dual use? If the military uses them and civilians use them, they are legitimate targets because the military uses them. But that's not what Trump said. Trump said he's going to go after them all. And that is a war crime. He said he's going to bomb them back to the Stone Age. That is not dual use. That is taking away every power plant, all the electrical grid, all the coal plants, the one nuclear plant. It's all the oil plants. He was going to go after all of them. And that's a war crime. Now, whether he intended to do that or if it's a negotiating ploy, I don't know. I can't get inside his head. I don't know. But you can't say those things if you're the president of the United States.
I agree with that.
So Iran, to counter that, you're right with me here.
Okay.
Trying to get my page up.
I understand that.
All right, I'm up. So the Democrats had called for Trump's removal over the threat to Iran. They wanted to invoke the 25th Amendment, which is the man's out of control, crazy, delusional, unable. They tried to do that with Biden. Some people wanted to do that with Biden because they didn't think he was competent or in charge. the Democrats, except for one person, wanted Trump removed from office because of these threats. And not that I want Trump removed from office, but they're right. It is not right that he would say these things. So Trump is in trouble with the Pope too. Pope Leo calls Trump's threat against Iran totally unacceptable. Pope said threats against Iran civilians are unacceptable and urged leaders to a peaceful solution, as attacks on civilian infrastructure would violate international law. I'm no fan of the Pope either, but he is correct on this.
Right.
So the other thing Iran did is there are pictures out today of human chains around power plants, roads, and bridges.
Okay.
And rail lines. They put human beings around them so that if we would have bombed power plants, roads, bridges, or rail lines, we would have caused the death of thousands of civilians, maybe millions, if we would have carried out the threat that Trump made. These are sick human beings in Iran. I understand Trump's frustration.
Right.
I understand it. But, like I'll just say one more time, as a president of the United States, you can't say those things that he said. Now, the whole basis of this ceasefire is because Iran put out a 10-point peace plan. And this is what's going to be negotiated. The point number one is stop the attacks. They want the United States and Israel to stop bombing Iran. 2, a permanent end to the war. In other words, no more ceasefires, no more bombings, the war is over. They would they want Israel to stop attacking Hezbollah. Israel's never going to stop attacking Hezbollah unless Hezbollah surrenders. That's a no-go.
Right.
Removal of all sanctions. We're not giving Iran their money so that they can rebuild their country. Cessation of all fighting against Iran's allies. Payment of a 2 million fee per ship to pass through the Strait of Hormuz.
Wow.
$2 million per ship.
Is that
revenue
is that
per ship.
Per time? Per time?
Per time. Per ship, per time.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Now, they would share that with Oman, who also is on the other side of the Strait of Hormuz, right?
Still.
And part of the revenue would be to rehab Iranian infrastructure that's been destroyed. This is a better plan than their first plan. It's closer to reality, but it's not reality yet.
It sounds.
But we have 2 weeks now to negotiate.
And who do they want this money to come from?
Each ship, the owners of the ships, the countries, and the insurance companies.
Wow. Is that even possible? I mean, is it worth that to anybody?
It's doable because some ships are doing it right now.
Okay.
Some tankers are paying that right now.
Wow, that would raise the gas prices and stuff. I mean, they're already high now. Wow. I don't even know what to think of that. Oh, man.
It's not maddening to me. Did you know? So I'm off my soapbox now. Let's think about something good. U.S. rescues missing crew member in Iran after a fighter jet shot down.
Yes.
Did you hear about this?
I do have the article for it, yes.
Okay.
Let me find it here. I think I put it in here. I want to say I did. Let's see. I've got all kinds of stuff under the Trump file. That's it. Yeah.
You know, as a Christian, as a believer, speech is very important. How you say things,
Right.
is very important.
Trump and top officials share details of rescue of U.S. airmen from Iran. There we go.
It was go ahead.
It says President Trump and national security officials shed light on the daring rescues of 2 American airmen who were shot down over Iran last week, detailing the intense effort to extract both men from the enemy soil. Speaking at a news conference at Washington White House, Mr. Trump also said he believes that the Iranians are negotiating in good faith amid a renewed diplomatic push to strike a deal that would stop the fighting and reopen the Strait of Hormuz. The president has given the Iranians until 10 p.m. Tuesday to reach an agreement on opening the strait before targeting power plants and infrastructure. Mr. Trump said that the effort to locate the downed airmen was one of the largest, most complex, most harrowing combat searches. I guess you could call it a search and rescue mission ever attempted by the military. The American F-15E fighter jet was shot down by Iranian fire on Friday. The plane's pilot was located and rescued that same day, but the second crew member, a weapons officer, remained missing in Iran's mountainous terrain. The president announced early Sunday morning that the weapons system officer had also been rescued. The operation involved more than 150 planes and more than 200 munitions. And it was reported early Monday the stranded officer had only had a handgun to defend himself. Boy, that would have been, he would have been outpowered by just about anything, including the animals that were there. A handgun, man. I wouldn't even, that's got to be scary. Can you imagine
that's all officers carry.
Oh, man. That's crazy. So it says.
Well, it can't, nothing more than that can fit into the plane.
Well, yeah, but still, oh man, I used to think that if I were in the military, I'd want to be in the flight. I would want to do the Air Force or something so I wouldn't have to go.
It's all good until you're shot down.
Yeah, it's all fun and games until then. Whew. Boy, I'm glad they made it back. I can't believe they both made it back. How did the first guy made it back?
He did. The first guy was picked up right away. They knew where he was. They traveled 200 miles into Iran and got him out. Special operations did it.
I guess.
Wow. The second guy landed a couple miles away. See, when you eject out of an F-15, the back seat goes first.
Ah.
And then the front seat goes.
And
then there's wind and speed. And so they don't all land close to each other.
Right.
They can land miles apart from each other. And that's what happened. They landed miles apart from each other.
Can they when they're flying, when they're ejecting out of a seat, can they actually control at all where they end up?
No.
Wow.
No.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. He was, the second guy was injured. He either had a broken foot or a sprained ankle. One of the two. He sustained injuries along his escape and evasion. He climbed up a 7,000-foot mountain.
Wow.
To hide in a crevice, a crevice in the rock on top of this mountain.
How did they find him? Do they have some kind of...
Well, they have a radio. They have a very sophisticated, technologically advanced radio.
Starlink.
That's encrypted. And they can, it has texting capabilities, it has encryption, and it has voice.
Wow.
And his first message was, God is good. That's how they knew he was alive. So evidently this guy is a Christian.
Well, he is now, especially.
Well, if he wasn't before, you're right, he is now. There's no atheists in foxholes, so, yeah. Now they were closing in. And so what happened was that 2 C-130s landed in the desert and sunk into the sand. And they pulled out two or four small helicopters. And SEAL Team 6 and PJs, which is the Air Force's Special Recovery Unit. That's all they do is go after downed pilots. And SEAL Team 6, plus other special forces, got on the ground and started fighting against Iranian soldiers coming to get them. Iran put out a $60,000 reward for any Iranian that would have turned in the pilot.
Wow.
And so there were firefights. They did get him. The planes and the helicopters had to be destroyed. They had to fly in a lighter aircraft to extract all the crew from the C-130s, the pilots from the helicopters that had to be destroyed. The C-130s had to be destroyed, right? Because you don't want them falling into enemy hands. They'd learn things they shouldn't learn. They had to fly in these other planes that could land and take off from the sand of the desert. They had to extract everybody into these planes. So the old adage is there room for anybody else? Yeah, there's room for one more. You just pile them in and take off.
Wow.
Right? So they extracted the WISO, which is the weapons service officer, is called a WISO. They extracted him. They took care of his wounds, his injuries. They put him on the plane. They gathered everybody else on the plane, and they flew the 200 miles out of the country to Kuwait.
Wow.
And they got him.
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I don't even I don't even know what to think about something like that.
Well, be proud of your United States military, because it is doubtful that any other military in the world would have even made the attempt, let alone pull it off.
I believe that. Yeah, that's crazy.
Probably Israel could have done it, maybe China or Russia, but nobody else.
Yeah.
Even would have tried.
That's unbelievable. Jeez.
And Israel helped, by the way. There were bombings. They were bombing anybody that came close to this weapons officer.
Yeah.
They would A-10s would shoot at them, and B-1 bombers would bomb them. So if you even ventured close to this area, you were dead. You were dead.
Wow.
And the CIA put in a diversion tactic. They set up in another part of the area to try to pull the Iranian forces towards them, thinking he was over there when he was over here.
Wow.
And they also put out that we already had him, trying to dissuade Iranian forces from trudging on. So it was a multifaceted, multi-service, multi-agency operation, the largest in the history of warfare, the most complicated in the history of warfare.
Wow.
You can be very proud of the U.S. military.
That's just crazy. It's weird to think about all that stuff going on, you know? Wow. Whew. I'm just glad that they made it out alive. I wouldn't have ever thought that. I never really would have, you know, thought that was a that I don't know, just weird to think about. So I'm just glad that everybody came out and they got him out. They got him out okay.
A couple of the helicopters were shot up, and there were some people that took some shrapnel and fire, but nobody died, and everyone is going to be just fine.
Yeah.
Except there's a whole bunch of Iranians that are dead, and but everybody else on the American side's fine. So I really don't care about the Iranian soldiers, but you know.
Well, I mean, they're people too, though. I guess that's the kind of way.
Well, this is my stance. All right, it's like someone on death row.
Yep.
You should witness Christ to them. You should explain Jesus Christ to them. Try to get them to accept Christ, and then go to the electric chair.
Okay.
Or because I believe in witnessing Christ to anyone and everyone for a chance at redemption.
Right.
But still, they have to fulfill their sentence.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, I mean, they fortunately the nice thing is that they were able to save the people that are people, and they did what they had to do. And wow, they're heroes that they actually made it out of there and alive. Even if they didn't,
they are heroes.
Even if they didn't do what they were planning on doing, did they do it before they achieved their mission?
Do what?
Whatever they were there for.
Well, they dropped the bomb. I don't know if they dropped their bombs before they were hit or not. I don't know that.
Yeah. Let's see if the article says.
Either way, they were the miracle occurred because it was a true miracle. It all went our way. It doesn't have to. It didn't have to go our way.
Right. Let's see.
But you really got to hand it to the WASO, the Weapons Service Officer, the Weapons Systems Officer.
Yeah.
Because he did his evasive tactics perfectly. He did exactly what he was trained to do.
Yeah.
He did it perfectly.
Let's see.
So, and he was the reason that he's alive today.
Yeah.
It all kind of comes together when you're behind enemy lines. Your whole life kind of flashes before your eyes.
Oh yeah.
And he's a very fortunate man.
That's got to be scary though, when you think about it. I mean, that's crazy to think what they had to go through. And wow, I wouldn't even know. I mean, if I was in that situation, I'd be like, oh man, what do we do now? I mean, I'd be panicking. Or maybe I wouldn't.
Well,
maybe I wouldn't be, because in that situation,
you rely on your training. I'm sure there's panic, but you rely on your training. You do what you're trained to do. Every pilot goes through Sears training, and it is evasion and how to eat off the land, how to hide, how to survive, how to do treat yourself medically.
That's crazy. Well, they're heroes. They are truly heroes.
They are true heroes. So, did you know that Trump is building a ballroom?
Yeah.
On the East Wing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, a judge stopped it.
Oh, okay.
A federal judge halted the 400 million, 900 square foot White House ballroom.
And why did he do that?
Because he said that Trump lacked congressional approval for the demolition and the construction. That is a delicate constitutional point, because other presidents have done a lot of reconstruction in the White House without congressional approval.
Okay.
All right, so this was a liberal judge, so he ruled liberally against Trump. Trump may win it on appeal. But here's the thing. Underneath the ballroom, they're building a massive security complex for the president and the staff. That needs to continue.
Okay.
The ballroom would have drone-proof roofs and bulletproof glass. But they have this massive bomb-proof complex being built underneath. that is big enough to handle all the staff of the White House.
Interesting.
So it's up in the air. Trump says we got to go ahead with the building of the complex, if nothing else. So we'll see what happens. That's an appeal.
Yeah.
Artemis 2, have you been following this?
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, they have been behind the moon. They have come out on the far side of the moon, and they're heading back to Earth. They have traveled further than any other human being. They ventured 252,757 miles from Earth.
Wow.
Which is further than any other human being.
That actually, I did know. I knew that part there. Yes.
They should land by Friday.
That's crazy.
They also still have bathroom problems. They can do number 2, but they can't do number 1.
That's a problem.
That is a problem.
Oh boy.
That is a problem.
How do you fix something like that, though?
They're trying everything they can. They turn the spacecraft into the sun because they think there's ice buildup on the craft at the nozzle where the urine would expel from the craft. They've done probably 25 other maneuvers trying to get it to drain.
Jeez.
So they're using plastic bags, the water bags.
Yeah.
They're turning them into urine bags.
Wow.
And storing them.
Whew. That's a little too far for a service call.
Plumbers, can you imagine the plumbers service fee for going out there?
Yeah, we'll be there in 3 months. We got to take off. We got to fly there, or whatever the time frame is. Man, I can't imagine. Jeez, we got to get that transporter working.
That's what they need. They need a transporter.
That's right.
And there's a woman on board.
Yeah.
So she's not too happy with this, I would imagine.
Yeah, I would imagine not.
Because it's a little bit harder for a woman to pee into a plastic bag than a man to pee in a plastic bag.
Yes, it is. That's crazy. Well, they needed someone up there to clean. Ba-doom.
Okay, he said that, folks. He said that. So the president fired Pam Bondi, the attorney general.
Yes. I noticed that because I listened to a very important news channel. It's called Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, they had a skit.
Yeah, they had a skit on it.
Nobody knows why. It's never come out. It's not come out why he fired her. There's a lot of suspicion as to why he fired her. And the suspicion is that she wouldn't go after his enemies like he wanted to do. That's another thing I have against the president. He's vengeful.
Yes.
He's very vengeful.
Yes, I hate that about him. He's got to be professional. He's got, I don't know. I really can't stand that. When it comes to doing the right thing, he doesn't always do the right thing because he's busy with his vendettas against people.
I don't know. Like I said, I voted for him, but sometimes I think I believe in my heart that God puts every ruler in place, that God okays it. He doesn't take them by surprise. He isn't shocked by the outcome of an election. He knows beforehand who's going to be elected. I believe that he puts that person in place, and I believe his hand is upon him because Scripture says that God can turn the heart of a ruler in his hand.
I think
some of the things Trump thinks, says, and does are outrageous.
Yes.
It's really hard.
And
it's really hard.
It comes down to this. What would Kamala have done in this situation? She would have laid back and let it happen. She wouldn't have taken any kind of aggressive stance towards it. I do believe that I still don't know for sure that it was the right thing for us to go there, but I do believe that he is stronger than her when it comes to people taking him seriously. Everyone is taking him seriously. They don't agree with him, but if he says he's going to do it, he's probably going to do it. And it doesn't really matter if you agree with him or not. He's still going to do it. And she's wishy-washy. So that's my opinion.
My opinion is that Trump makes a better president than her.
Yes, that's basically what I'm saying. Even though I don't know that I feel that he's a good president, I think we could have had worse. But we wouldn't have been in this situation probably if she were in. But
But Iran could have had a nuclear weapon by now.
And who would have known? Yeah, that's what it comes down to, is who would have known where we would have been. Because, I mean, we couldn't go through another 4 years of that group of people. I mean, I don't know how I didn't like our choices. That was the problem.
Well, like I say, I voted for President Trump. I believed he would make a better president. I knew his mouth. I swallowed my tongue, bit my tongue, held my nose, and voted for him.
Yeah. I felt that we were in a lose-lose situation. It's just how much were we going to lose? And he was put in a situation that was very difficult. We couldn't just let these injustices go on. But I don't know how I would have handled the injustices if I were president. I don't know.
My people that know him personally says he's the nicest guy in the world, listens to everything you have to say, is magnanimous and kind and giving, and you want to be his friend. But he's not that way to the public.
I don't know. That's what they say about Epstein, too. He'd give you everything. Anyone you wanted. He'd give you anybody that you wanted. Oh, man.
True.
That's it. I don't know. It scares me how much we have seen. I don't really, I don't feel that we had we were in a lose-lose situation. It's just what things would you lose with each person, because I don't think either one would have done the job. And it's just, she would have caved on everything, and he isn't afraid to walk over everybody to get what he wants. So you got two completely opposite personalities. And we didn't have a third. If we had a third, I probably would have voted for them. But we just didn't.
Well, Mike, being a Christian, being a believer, he is the best friend of a Christian we've ever had. He is the best friend of a Jew that the Jews have ever had. He's the best friend of Israel that Israel has ever had. There are a lot of pluses from my perspective of having President Trump in office. He is surrounded by a lot of Christian pastors, mostly conservative evangelicals, not liberal pastors, but conservative evangelicals, who pray for him all the time. He is surrounded in prayer. He is lifted up in prayer daily. My wife and I have an alarm on our phones that at 9 o'clock every night we pray for the president and our leaders.
Really?
We really miss it. Yes, yes. Reverend Graham put that out and asked many months ago if we would start praying for him at 9 o'clock at night.
Wow.
This has been a long time, probably more than months ago. It's been a while.
So that's where you go at 9 o'clock when I'm talking.
That's where I go at 9 o'clock. But like he is surrounded by pastors who lift him up in prayer and support him. My question is, how can they handle his mouth, his ego, and his vengefulness?
Right. That's. I agree. I don't know how can they do that. They can't possibly think that he's doing the right thing all the time. I mean, he's
no. There's nobody thinks he does the right thing all the time. I'm sure they get as upset with him as I get with him, but it's just very difficult to support a man that his mouth flaps as much as his does and says some of the things he says. I mean, he said, "Praise be to Allah." Okay. That's a direct derogatory statement towards the Muslim faith. We're not fighting against Islam. We're fighting against the mullahs who have hijacked Islam and made it into a death cult. Most Muslims are peaceful people. They just want to raise their kids, send them to school, go to mosque, and live a peaceful life.
Okay.
That's not all Muslims. There are radicals out there. Believe me, there are radicals out there. And there are some Muslims that live in this country that are burning the American flag, which is like, why are you here? But that was a direct insult to the Islamic faith. And you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So I'm off my soapbox now.
Oh.
China tops the U.S. in global approval rating. Gallup said China's 5-point edge over the United States is its widest in nearly 20 years, driven by a record high 48% disapproval rating of U.S. leadership. And I tell you, it's all because of Trump, because the world doesn't like Trump.
I know. Yeah, definitely. Wow.
But China now has better approval ratings than Trump does, than the U.S. has. So just thought I'd throw that out there. Now, here's something near and dear to your heart. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said that 2.59 million vehicles were involved and that Tesla software updates reduced low-speed incidents with minor property damage. They've investigated Tesla in these crashes, and they have said that the software updates have taken Tesla off their list in the software updates over 2025. Tesla has addressed and identified issues through 6 software updates released through 2025, improving obstacle detection, camera blockage identification, and vehicle response to dynamic objects such as parking gates.
Interesting.
However, Tesla's full self-driving remains under heightened scrutiny. The agency recently upgraded its investigation to an engineering analysis covering about 3.2 million vehicles, a stage typically preceding a recall.
Well, the issue with that is also that the anything above a 2023 has the new computer. So my 2020 has the old computer. That software for full self-driving is nowhere near the quality of the one I have. And would I trust that as much as I trust this one? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't trust that one the 2020 near what I trust this one with. This one, the 20, as you saw in your test ride, I should say, I never touched the steering wheel once I started on full self-driving. On the 2020, I still have to intervene at times. I still don't feel that, because the quality of the computer is that much slower, and I don't trust it nearly, and they don't have as good of cameras on the earlier ones too. The new cameras are high definition, and actually the older ones, like my 2020, still have LiDAR, I believe, in it. So, because they stopped using LiDAR because they created their own system from the ground up. Now the new one is relatively clean. As you saw, it's really good at roundabouts, it's good at stop signs, it's good at red lights. It still has some issues, but nothing that I can see that's going to kill you or get you in an accident. But there's some small things that it doesn't see. But for the most part, the old one, I have to be on my toes. I got to pay attention to what's going on because it doesn't have the technology of the newer ones.
Well, you had said that the one thing that you find is if you go into a construction zone, it doesn't recognize the speed difference.
And that's because whatever they do with the speed signs that they map them out, where it says, say it's a 70 mile an hour zone, when they work on something, they drop that down to 55. But I don't think that they upload that information. So the car gets the information from wherever it gets the information, but the information's not updated on the speed. If they don't update that, it won't change the speed. It'll think it's still a 70 mile an hour zone. So that's one thing that I do notice, and I have to actually physically make it go slower.
Yeah.
That's one thing I'm sure they're working on, and there's got to be a way that they can fix that. If nothing else, they should use the cameras to read the speed signs, because I don't think that they do that. And that would be part of the reason why that would be an issue.
Okay. So you think it's going to be okay, and they're not going to do a recall?
No, because there's no recall to do. If they're going to do a recall, it's going to be software updates. It's not going to be hardware. See, the thing is, with this car, it's all software. With the other cars out there, their hardware is not nearly what it is for this car. The hardware in this car, the high definition cameras on the new ones and stuff, the 2023s on up, even the cameras on the stuff below a 2023 is in general better than the other vendors. Now keep in mind, everybody else, Tesla has a good, sometimes 10 years on some of the other car manufacturers when it comes to the development of this software. So everybody's playing catch up. There's no other company except for Waymo. There is no other company that can go full self-driving on its own. The other companies aren't full self-driving. They're just advanced they're just kind of like if you have cruise control. It's an advanced cruise control. But an advanced cruise control cannot do a roundabout, cannot do the stuff that my car can do. My car actually can drive itself. Those cars can't drive themselves. In fact, the best they can do is on the highway with cruise control, it'll change lanes and stuff. But it doesn't, if you put it on a back road, forget it. They rely on the maps being updated. Mine can drive on a street that's not been mapped. Mine actually sees my dirt road that I come back on. And it drives right in the middle where it's supposed to, all the way back to my house. Now, the thing about it is, it doesn't drive at the right speed on my road. So that becomes a problem.
Yeah, I have to go very slow. But Last time I was at your house, they had filled in the potholes, so I was really happy about that.
But it's supposed to be 10 miles an hour.
Yes.
My car will go 15, and 15 is too fast on that road. Or I don't know if it hit 20, but it does more than 10. So, I mean, that's the thing when you come down to it. But the bottom line is the intelligence that my car has, it is very impressive what it can do. And the fact that I can go down the Shorekill Expressway and just rely on that to do the work. That to me makes me be able to relax a little bit behind that on a crazy road that goes 60 and then it goes 0, you know. And if I'm not having to do that, I'm better off and I can actually relax, as opposed to if I drive it, I'm going to be tense and I'm going to be worried about whether or not I'm going to hit somebody when I try to pass, or, you know, whatever it is. That in itself is worth the price of that. Of this full self-driving, is letting the car decide what to do. Because if everybody drove on Tesla's full self-driving, if everybody did it, nobody would have any accidents. Because everybody would be living by the same rules. And if everybody drove the same way, nobody would have an accident. My car is really sure that there's nobody coming up behind you if it's trying to pass somebody. It's really careful about that, and it drives like an old lady when it comes to changing lanes to make sure that no one's going to hit. Because you imagine the liability that is involved in that. The liability is going to be making sure nobody's going to hit anybody. So, yeah,
Okay.
I'm pretty confident on it, and I will use it for the most part. Exclusively. I looked at my phone and it told me how many, what the percentage is that I'm doing self-driving. It's obscene. The amount of self-driving, I think it was 90% is what it said. Let me see if I can see what I think I got to remember where it's at, but I think it was really good because it was, you know, there's no aggressive turning. Everything. The safety score is really high because it's driving and I'm not driving. So it's going to be as much as it could possibly be. I'm trying to see if I forget where I found it. I saw it somewhere in here and I was amazed and amused at the same time because, you know, I wondered how much of it, because I really rarely, the bottom line is the reason that I got this was not because I'm lazy and not because I don't want to drive. The truth of the matter is, I thought about my grandfather when he was my age, and he took me for a drive, and it scared the living daylights out of me. There's a point where I'm not going to be able to drive myself, and I know that. And so why don't I take advantage of what's out there, and then if I'm feeling comfortable now, well, certainly it's going to only get better. And so as far as I'm concerned, I'm looking forward to being able to drive when I'm 80 because I won't be driving. And by the time I'm 80, they better have it all figured out because by then, a lot more people will use it, hopefully. And Tesla's being smart about it because what they're going to do is once they get to a certain point, they're going to go and they're going to offer it to other car companies like Ford. Like they have Blue Cruise. Well, that's not anything near what this is. Chevy has their Cruise. It's nothing like what this is. You know, if you look at all the possible things out there right now, there is nothing like this. They have spent so much money on this. And who's going to want to spend that kind of money? I don't know anybody that can do it unless they steal the code somehow, because who's going to want to bring this up from the ground up? And nobody has a good self-driving that's out there besides Tesla. And Waymo has theirs too, but the problem with Waymo is this. Waymo relies on a computer at the main office. If the computer goes down, the car pulls over and it doesn't drive. That doesn't happen with a Tesla. The Tesla is self-sufficient. If Tesla goes out of business, I'm going to have my full self-driving. So I may not get updates anymore, but I will have it, and it's good. It's pretty much, it's very, very good, and it, even at this rate, would make me happy for the rest of my life. So that tells me something.
Yeah. Like I said, I was shocked when we came up to the roundabout, and and I looked at your hands, looked at the roundabout, and you never touched the wheel. And It navigated the roundabout with traffic coming.
Yep.
It navigated it.
Yep.
I was pleasantly surprised.
I have seen some amazing things in this journey that I've had with this. Things that I didn't see how it was going to know what to do. And it even takes turns at stop signs. Like if all four stop signs, you know how you're supposed to let the guy go and then you go. And well, I had 4 cars all at the stop sign at the same time, and it took its turn, and it did it right. And the thing is, it's the most simplistic things it has to do are very complicated when it comes to what it has to learn. But it's simple to us, but to a computer, you got to tell it if you ever looked at code on a computer, it's got to have every possible scenario mapped out, or be able to tell the difference between them. It's AI is running that system.
I was just going to ask you the effect AI has on its computer.
Well, the one effect that it has is that now Grok, I can tell Grok where I'm going, and it'll say, "Do you want me to take you there?" If I say I want to go to this address, and it'll say, "Would you like me to route you there the best way?" And you can say yes or no. The idea is that you're going to be talking to your car like you talk to the person that's in the next seat to you. You don't have to go through all the things that how you're going to do this. It just is. It's simple, and that's really, to me, so powerful, and it's going to be. It really is the next evolution of our vehicles, and I see it as it's going to make Tesla even bigger. A friend of mine said today he saw a Cybertruck, and it was hauling like a 40-foot trailer or something, or I don't know if it was 40 foot, but it was pretty big, and it was funny because I was thinking, wow, there's probably no mileage, there's no range in that at all. But then I thought about it. If you had one of my friends said his diesel truck, he when he hooked up a trailer, he was getting 7 miles to the gallon. 7 miles to the gallon. Well, all of a sudden, it doesn't sound so bad with an electric truck either. Instead of getting 300 miles to the charge, you're probably getting 100 miles to the charge pulling a trailer. Because, think about it. If your truck is getting you 7 miles to the gallon, what do you usually get? I don't know, because I don't really have a big truck like that. But, you got to think that that's probably in line with it when you think about it. But everybody's focusing on, well, you're only going to get like 7 miles to the charge or whatever it is, 100 miles to the charge or whatever. But yeah, I may be getting 100 miles to the charge, but I'm hauling a 40-foot trailer or whatever it is. That becomes a little more reasonable when you're thinking about it. So, I don't know. I don't really have any need to haul a 40-foot trailer, but it's nice to know that the car can do that.
I got one more thing for you.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Americans are split over moral issues. You want to go down the list?
Sure.
Okay. Married people having an affair. 90% believe that it's morally wrong.
Okay.
All right. Viewing pornography. 52% believe it's morally wrong. 47% believe it's morally okay.
Okay, so let's go back to the first one first. 90% believe that the cheating on your spouse is wrong.
Well, yes.
That's no doubt. I mean, I believe that. But yet, even though there's 90%, they still cheat. And that 90% is part of the cheating, or there wouldn't be any cheating. So even though they know it's wrong or feel it's wrong, they're still doing it.
They do it.
And same with the second one. The second thing is, what was the second one again?
Pornography.
Yeah, pornography. Okay, it's wrong, but that doesn't stop people from doing it. That's the thing I want to say, is that even though that many people think it's wrong, that doesn't. And you said how many people do it, even though they know it's wrong?
Well, in church, they figure that 75% of the men in church, in conservative evangelical churches, have viewed pornography.
Yeah, that's probably low.
and over 50% of the pastors view pornography.
It's natural. It's a natural bond. It's a natural thing. I mean, no one gets hurt. So
well, see, as a Christian now, I believe that pornography is cheating on your wife. It's the same as as adultery.
But you still, do you ever look at a girl and say, "Man, she's..."
Of course, all men do. But
okay,
that's not the point. The point is that people believe it's wrong to do it anyhow.
Well, of course it's wrong, but that doesn't stop.
But it's coming down over time. More and more people think it's acceptable now than 25 years ago.
But is it really coming down, or is someone just saying
being
that?
honest?
Yeah.
True.
I mean, the bottom line is men are men, and men aren't the only ones doing it, but men are the biggest offenders. Okay, what's the next one?
Abortion. 47% think it's morally wrong. 52% say it's not morally wrong. That pretty well tracks with pro-choice, pro-life.
Yeah.
Position.
Yeah.
Homosexuality. This is. I can tell you where this camp is at. 39% believe it's morally wrong. That's in the Christian camp. In the Muslim camp. And 60% think it's okay.
Wow.
Patient ending their own life with a doctor's help. 63% say it's okay. The death penalty. 34% believe it's morally wrong. 64% believe it's okay.
Yeah, that one's a tough one for me, because like I have an issue with the death penalty, but yet I don't have an issue with the death penalty. So I believe it's morally wrong, but I believe that it's also, I would rather, if you put someone to death row, we got to pay for them to be on death row, and we got to pay for them to be in jail. So I have those people did something really bad to get on death row, and they're never going to be fixed. So why keep them alive? Why keep them in jail? And why should we have to pay to keep them there? Yet, again, I have a problem because I hate the idea of killing someone too. But which one do I hate the most? You know, that's a tough one. I have a hard time with that one because I hate.
Well, my position. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I hate the idea. You know, I always come back to "thou shalt not kill." You know,
which means "thou shalt not murder."
Well, does it? I mean, I think killing.
Yeah.
I mean,
it does. A correct exegesis of the scripture says "thou shalt not murder."
But we're supposed to be like Jesus, and Jesus didn't strike anyone.
Well,
so I mean, there's my conflict with that. Is that I believe that we gotta stick for what we believe in, but yet we don't. We say, well, okay, well, this is an exception. Well, why is there an exception? Should there be an exception? I mean, if this person, let's say, I'm not going to say Manson because Manson never killed anyone. he had everybody else do it. Let's pick someone that who's
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Okay, Jeffrey Dahmer. Okay, why would we keep him alive? What reason would we keep him alive? We know he's dangerous. We know he doesn't have any regrets. We know he would do it again. Why would we keep him alive?
Do you know that Jeffrey Dahmer accepted Christ before he died? It doesn't excuse anything. It doesn't change anything. I just thought I'd throw that out there.
I didn't know that, and to me, it doesn't really matter, does it? Because chances are that's what he may have.
Matters for him. Matters for him.
Well, I mean, I guess I'm thinking. Well, I mean, what if Hitler had accepted Christ and all that stuff? Would he still be in? Would he be in heaven when we get there? Is he going to be there? Is that really fair? Is that? What about all the people he killed?
Now you're hitting on one of the biggest objections to Christianity. Is that technically speaking, if Hitler would have accepted Christ before he died, he would be in heaven.
That's one thing.
Technically speaking.
Yes, that's one.
And that is a big objection to Christianity.
Well, I mean, I don't.
Because how can you rationalize a man that did what Hitler did being allowed into heaven?
Right, and there's some. I mean, we're supposed to forgive too, and we don't. We don't forgive.
Now you're hitting on the thing. There is forgiveness.
Yeah.
For accepting Christ. So, but you just hit on how atheists have some good points against Christianity.
But you know, even if you don't believe in Christianity, the thing is, the idea of Christianity is awesome. The idea that you can forgive people, the idea that you can, be able to start new. That to me is a great thing. However, it backfires in the case of things like this, because I still have that. Personally, I have issues with it because Hitler is whatever, or somebody like Dahmer, or someone like, all these people that have done things that were just horrendous. People that have gone into a building and blown the building up. And why did they do it? Who knows? Whatever reason they gave for doing it, why would you actually try to hurt someone, especially someone you don't know, someone that you never met, someone that you did it to prove a point? You killed all those people in Iraq or Iran or whatever country it is to make a point. I mean, and then what? You can say, I want to be saved, and all of a sudden it's okay that you killed all those people? There is some issues with that, because some people are just, there are people that are pure evil people. There are people who, one person who I thought was pure evil was my older brother. And to this day, I will never be able to understand his logic and how he did things. I couldn't understand how people actually were his friend. He was just a purely evil person, and that's my opinion. And I'm sure there's lots of people that thought, well, he wasn't that evil. He always gave. Well, he didn't give to everybody. He gave me a hard time, and I did a lot of things that I knew a lot of things that he did that a lot of people didn't know, and it just, he was an evil person as far as I'm concerned. And there's no difference between him and than the Korean leader. I mean, the guy,
Kim Jong-un.
Yeah, I mean, I just really feel that he was an evil person, and he did a lot of things that I felt were not cool, and well, a lot of them were, he had friends, and the friends, they would have done anything for him, and I can't understand it, and because I never saw that side of him. But every time I stepped up to, when he was dying, I stepped up for him because that was the right thing to do, not because I liked him, because I didn't. I couldn't like a person that constantly tried to belittle me, and I just didn't understand him. But there's people like him. I mean, to think that he may be in heaven, he says he was a Christian. Okay.
Scripture also says you shall know them by their fruit.
Well,
in other words, you can if their actions don't line up with their words,
right?
If their walk doesn't line up with their talk, you can question whether they truly are a believer or not.
Well, the whole thing is whether or not he was a believer, that's on him, and whether or not he made it to.
Ultimately, it's on all of us personally.
Right. I mean, to me, it's not important to me whether or not he made it. It's not important to me whether or not my other brother made it. It's not important to me whether or not my family made it. I made my own way, and whether or not my way is the right way, that's on me. And the decisions that I made. And I'm just hoping that what I did, nothing I do is because I want to go to heaven. I do it because it's the right thing to do. And I don't think anybody should do things because they want to go to heaven. I think they should do it because it's the right thing to do. If you're doing it to try to earn a place in heaven, none of us deserve to go to heaven, as far as I'm concerned. I don't care who you are. You probably have done some pretty dark things in your life. It shouldn't be. You shouldn't be. My true belief is, you should not do something just to get into heaven. You should do something because it's the right thing to do. And you shouldn't have to worry. You shouldn't be worried about the rewards of whether or not you're going to get into heaven. How about you do the best thing you can do? Try to take care of other people. Try to take care of yourself. Try to be a good person. That's what I think Jesus really wanted. It's not a big thing about following him, I believe. I think it's more of being a good person, trying to be the best you could be. And if you try to, you can follow his lead because he did the right things, but you should do it because you should do it, not because you have to do it. You should do it because you want to do it. You should try to help someone because you want to help that person, not because they're going to get you to heaven. That's the wrong reason to do anything. If you're doing it just to get to heaven, that's not what you're doing. You're just, I got to make sure that he sees me do something good. No, that's not the reason to do it. You do it because it's the right thing to do. And that's
Scripture.
What's that?
Great. No, go ahead.
No, I just feel that the people, one of the reasons I didn't like church when I was younger, especially, was that everyone that puts on this face when they're not everyone. A lot of people put on this face when you go into a church. Their idea is, ooh, he has a ripped up T-shirt. He's wearing not very nice clothes. They're judging you the minute you walk in the church. A lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people. The right thing to do is welcome into our house. Is there anything I can get you? Is there? I'd love to know more about you if you would like to share it. To try to befriend that person, try to see what that person's all about, but instead you get judgment, and that's the thing. One of the things that I really I detest about religions is my religion is the only way. No, it's not. In fact, I don't think you even have to be religious to get into heaven. I think you need to do the right things. Because there's lots of people that don't even know about Jesus Christ that are probably going to go to heaven. And not because they worship Jesus Christ, but because they did the right thing. Because they may not have even met him in any... If you're in the jungles somewhere and you're growing up in the jungles and you do the right thing, I think that's what's real important, is that you try not to hurt people. You try not to be an evil person. You try not to take advantage of people. You try to help anyone. I think that is more important than anything. So that's my opinion. Now, that's not to say I don't believe. I'm just saying that's my opinion.
Well, Michael. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no man can come to the Father except through me.
So what about the people in Africa or in some third world country that doesn't have never
Okay.
met
Don't throw these deep theological problems that have no answers.
But what about so let's talk about the punk kid in the city streets that have never been to a church because they don't even know about, or they don't understand the reason for it. They've never been exposed to the real thoughts of and the beliefs of say where you're from, you know. There are those people that will never ever be seeing the right person to get into some kind of heaven.
This is my answer to that. I do everything I can to evangelize all the time.
Okay.
Because I don't want their blood on my hands.
Fine. Yeah, that's fine.
So when I go into the ARC, I witness every time I'm in there.
Okay.
To everybody that comes in that door, because most of them are not churched, never been to church.
Right, and that makes you
most of them.
That's a very good platform to go with, and I think that's awesome. However,
not everybody gets that opportunity.
Yeah, and does that mean that person or those people or that culture that has never heard Christianity, and there are lots of cultures out there that haven't, those people are going to perish?
Okay, there are two answers to that. The one is technically yes. If you have no other answer, then it's technically yes. The other answer is God knows the heart.
That's it. There you go. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying the same thing, just in a different way.
And I don't have an answer other than God knows the heart. So
yeah,
that's all I can bank on. But I know I'm not responsible for the result of an evangelistic episode, but I am responsible for the attempt.
Understood.
Now that doesn't mean I go knock on my neighbor's door down here and share Christ with them, because I don't do that, and that's wrong. I should do that. But where I can, I do. So I'm not perfect.
By the way,
I'm not.
Something that you would probably find interesting. Let's do it that way. Something you would find interesting. At the show Friday, we were not all of us, there were a couple of us out front while the show was going on, just outside talking about things. And these two people dressed fairly nice. I can only assume what they were doing, and I can only assume that they're of a certain culture. Let's use that word. Anyway, they walked across the road, walked across the bridge, and they saw that we had a wrestling show, and they stopped in, and they were dressed really very nicely. And you would assume that they probably would ride bikes, but they were walking. They didn't ride any bikes. And they asked if they could come in and see the show, and we told them to go ahead and see the show. I mean, we know that they're evangelizing. Is that the right word? Evangelizing?
Yes.
Okay.
They
were evangelizing, and I don't know who they were with, probably the Mormons, but maybe not. I don't know we didn't care where they were coming from. We just said, if you sure going in. But it was just kind of neat to watch them, and they were fascinated by the wrestling, and we said, go on in. So we left them in for free. It was nice. But it didn't matter that they were, just because they were nice people and they walked by, and we knew that they weren't going to stay because they were just, they were doing their job, whichever. I'm guessing that they were preaching. But it was just kind of cool. So.
Well, they need entertainment too. They can't do what they do all day long.
That's right. That's right. So it was just kind of cool.
That was cool. Back to my list here. I just got a couple more to go through. Death penalty. I'll just share with you mine. I think I've shared it before, but I believe in the death penalty.
Yes.
However, I don't believe the way it's applied.
Okay.
Too many minorities are on death row. Too many poor are on death row. And too many people have been absolved of a crime after their death.
Okay.
So practically, I don't believe in the death penalty.
Okay.
Because if you don't have a good lawyer, you're infinitely more susceptible to getting the death penalty than if you can't afford a good lawyer. And if you're of a certain persuasion, culturally and racially, you're more apt to be on death row than the opposite.
I think though that if a lot of times people don't think about the death penalty because they think, oh, I'll just be stuck in some cell till I die. If the death penalty were enforced as the death penalty, that when you're said you're going to get the death penalty, you don't wait 30 years to get the death penalty. I think that may have changed. That may change things because you wouldn't be able to fight for 30 years to stay off the death. Now, the downside is, what if they're really innocent and they get the death penalty? But as far as that goes, I'm not sure what I think about the death penalty, because I think there are some truly evil people that would benefit by going to the death penalty, because there's certain people that you can't save everyone. There's just no way you can save everyone. And if you premeditate a death of some sort, you deserve the death penalty. If it happens by accident, if you have a car accident and someone dies, okay, that happens. That does happen. But if you took a gun into a bank and decided to shoot the teller because they didn't give you enough money or whatever reason, you deserve to die. But who am I to say that, you know? Sometimes there's circumstances that we can't control. If you were kidnapped and given a gun and told that you had to do this or else you were going to die, or whatever. I mean, there are circumstances that does happen, and you gotta, I don't know how to handle that, but there's nothing that's ever cut and dry when it comes down to it.
Gambling. Do you know that 70% of people in America think it's morally acceptable?
Acceptable?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm okay with that. I mean, I realize that it isn't in the Christian world, that it isn't, but I'm okay with it, I think. I've gambled.
I'm just against it. Because I see the devastation. I see the guy that has thrown his life away because he gambles.
Yeah. And I got to say that if I were in a different situation, I would say that too. I mean, like when I was younger, I wouldn't gamble for anything because I never had any money. And now it's just like, I don't mind blackjack, and I do play blackjack, and I do play Texas Hold'em, but I don't play with real money. I play with just fake money because I have fun with it, and it's, you know, but I have played with real money. And in fact, when I was working, I started with $300, went out playing, and I was doing really well. By the way, I know how to play blackjack to win, if there is such a thing. And when it works well, it works well. When it works bad, it works really bad. And I started with $300. I ended up with $2,500 over a couple months. And then I needed the money for something else, and I spent the money on something else. See, I started with $300, and when I was done with the $300, that was it. No more. And if I made $800 and I was playing and I started doing bad, there's a time that you got to know when to quit. And I was pretty disciplined about that most of the time. And that's how I got to $2,500. There's sometimes you just can't win. Last night I was playing and I was losing money really bad, and no matter what I did, I couldn't turn that around. But some days I go in there and I can't lose. And so that's the way it was in real life too. I would play in real life, and you just got to determine that number. And usually if I lose 3 in a row, I got to change tables or I got to quit. I also believe that blackjack is the only way you can make money. You can't make money consistently in any other of the table games, because most of the table games only one person wins, but on blackjack everybody can win. So that's the reason I play blackjack. It's because it's the only game that everybody can win. You're not competing against the guy next to you. You're competing against the dealer only. And the way that I learned to play, the way that the rules that I have, is that after first off, you use progressive betting so that you bet, and if you lose, you go back to the original bet. So let's say, for instance, I start at $10. I'm saying 10 because it's an easy number to remember. The first round, if I win, I go up to 15. If I lose, I stay at 10. If I win at 15, I go to 20. And then I go to 25, then I go to 30, then I go to 40, then I go to 50, then I go to 60, then I go to, I might go to 80 then. It's progressive. That's the way that I play. But if I lose once and I'm at 80, I go back down to 10. And then I start over again. So progressive. I play with progressive gambling, and I also play with a strategy that is pretty well known in the industry, and knowing when to hit them, when not to hit them, and stuff like that. And I can do fairly well with that most times. There's sometimes you just can't win, no matter what. You just have a wrong draw the cards. And also, when I play, I look at the table before I join the table, and I watch to see how everybody's playing. If everybody's playing haphazardly, I don't go to play that table. If everybody seems to know what they're doing, how they bet and all that stuff, I might join. But, all the things got to be right or I don't join, because I don't like to lose, and who does? But if all the things are, if all my rules are met, then I will play. And if I break any of the rules that I am used to playing with, I usually end up losing. If I stick to my guns and you have to check off all the boxes, then I will play, and I'll feel confident about playing. But those boxes all got to be checked before I play. But I haven't played for a while. I mean, it's been a couple years, because I don't like to lose, and I'm too busy to lose money and give money away. If I want to give money away, I just give it away to somebody that I know. I can feel good about it. So
I went to the horse track for a while and bet. I got up $1,700.
Wow!
Lost it all in the next horse race and never bet again.
Well, you never bet all your money in one place. You got to spread it out.
I bet all my money in one place.
Ugh. My friend Bowski used to always play the horse races, and he had some pretty complicated software he used to follow. It didn't do him any good. And he thought it did, because at times he'd do well. He'd be really, but he'd lose more than he'd gain every time. He may win one day and say, "Look at that, I made $3,000," and then he won't tell you about the other 10 times that he played that he got that he lost money. That's the thing. I know overall I probably have won more than I've lost. Blackjack's easier to, like I said, it's easier to manipulate, because on horse racing, there's only one horse that wins. There's a horse that wins. There's a horse that places. There's a horse that seconds. But you got to guess which one's which. And with blackjack, you either win or you lose, and it doesn't matter if everybody wins or if everybody loses. It's you're all independent of everybody. However, there is a certain amount of things that you can rely on with strategy, with the times to bet, the times to not bet, the times to split. People that split tens are idiots. There are lots of people that split tens, and you don't split tens. And like for instance, okay, so if you split it, let's say you have 2 tens, and somebody and let's say the dealer has a 2. Some people say, well, that's the time to split. Well, is it? Because if you split that 10, you now have 2 hands. Now, you had 20. Now you have, say, 19 and you have 17, or 18 and 12, or whatever. Then the guy ends up getting 20. Now you lost 2 hands instead of 1 that you could have walked away with. Or if you have 1 and you win 1, you lose 1, you could have had almost a guaranteed win with 20. And you didn't take it. Now whose was it? Now, I don't get greedy. You got to know when to hold them. And that's that's a big no-no. Yeah, for me, that's a big no, is to split 10s, and people do all the time. And people don't seem to understand. Let's take the 20 win and not 2-19 loses. And I've seen it a way that people bet on things, and it just doesn't make sense. But it happens regularly on these games, and it just is amazing. Some people just get greedy, and you got to know you don't get. I mean, yeah, you could win both hands, but you could lose both hands. Let's say you split 10s, and then you get 2s. Now your 10s are 12s. Now you have a chance of losing 2 instead of winning 1. So there's some people that just don't understand there is no such thing as a fast win. Like everything else, it's just one of those things that you gotta do the right thing, because if you lose 2 of them instead of winning 1, you could win 2. That happens, but I play practically, and most of the time that's again not being greedy. And there's certain versions of blackjack that I like. Out in Vegas, they have one called Blackjack Switch. You have to play 2 hands at a time. And the thing that's cool about Blackjack Switch is that you can actually, if you have 2 hands, Blackjack Switch means the second card on both hands, you can actually switch them. You have to say it, and then, like, let's say, for instance, you have an ace and you have a 9, and the other one you have a 10, and you have, let's say you have a 10 and a 6 or something. You can switch them so that you have a blackjack on one. That's cool. It's just kind of, that was one of my favorite ones out there. And what was the other one that I played that I thought was really cool? Oh, and the other thing that if you play Spanish blackjack, that's cool. I like Spanish blackjack. You can double down on the second card. Like when you get your 2 cards, and instead of double down now, let's say if you had an ace and a 6, you took the next card, and the next card was say let's say it was a 2 or something. Now you have an 18 instead of an 8, or instead of a 16, but you could double down on that next card, which is really cool. So it just there's a few, and plus you don't have any. What's it? You don't have any 10s or something. Something weird about that. You have less 10s or something. I forget what it was, but I used to play that too. One time I was having a hard time playing blackjack, and someone said, "You got to play Spanish blackjack." I said, "I don't know how to play it." Well, the dealers will help you walk it through, and then once you figure out that there's some cool stuff with the Spanish blackjack, it's kind of cool because you get to learn a new game that is basically the same game, but a few extra things. So, when I was working regularly, I had money that I could blow, and I never thought as a kid that I would ever see that. I never thought, ooh, I have money to blow. I just, and since I don't do drugs, what am I going to blow it on? Yeah. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Spanking children. 23% think it's wrong. 75% think it's okay.
Having what?
Shocked me a little.
Having what with children?
Spanking.
Children. my opinion.
I thought the morally wrong would be much higher.
But I don't know that it is morally wrong. We were spanked. I mean, as a kid.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but I try not to.
Well, obviously, it's yeah. I mean, I don't. There's some kids that I think. The thing is, our world's gotten a little soft in some ways, because I believe that spanking isn't the worst thing that you could do. I think that it especially depending on the age of the child. Some kids, like, I remember there was a kid that this one, when I was about I was probably 20-ish, 21-ish, and my cousin's girlfriend had a kid that was like 6, and I went to see him, and not the kid, I went to see my friend, my cousin, and they asked me to watch the kid for, a short period of time while they went out to get something. And the kid was like out of hand, and he actually tried to stab me. He was like 6, and he tried to stab me. There's some problems there. There's some discipline problems there. And it also leaving a guy like me who is not really known by the girl. My cousin knew me, but his girlfriend didn't know me. And to leave me there with the kid alone, that's kind of weird there too. But, the idea that the kid actually tried to stab me, and what could I do? Nothing. I wasn't allowed to touch him. And I wouldn't want to hit him anyway, because he didn't know who I was anyway. But I believe that kids need to be disciplined, and I don't think they should be over-disciplined, but I think that a certain amount of discipline is important, especially at a younger age. If you don't fear anyone or fear anything, you're going to be more apt to do things you shouldn't do. At least that's my opinion. And I was rarely spanked or anything because I was a good kid. I didn't really want to do anything wrong. My fear was that I wanted to be a good kid, and I didn't like to be a bad kid. And that was different. And that's one of the reasons my brother probably didn't like me, was that I tried to be the goody two-shoes when I was younger. So I don't know. I think that spanking is not necessarily a bad thing, but it can be if you go too far. It's like anything else. If you do too much, it could turn into a bad thing. So some people do abuse kids, and there's a difference between abuse and discipline. So
exactly. How about pot? What do you think?
What about what?
Pot. Marijuana.
My opinion has changed over the years, because when I was younger, I was a prude, and I didn't like anything to do with it. If you're talking recreation, it's better than alcohol. I don't really get high, and I don't really drink, so I just think that it's okay. I think pot. I would rather see pot than alcohol, because you don't see people, doing things really stupid over pot, usually. I mean, it's not most of the time. I mean, like you get angry over alcohol. If you drink a lot, you tend to get angry or stupid. Pot is a mellow kind of thing. You don't see people fighting over pot, for the most part.
That's exactly right. 76% think it's okay.
And I think it's okay too. I just found this one. Well, I think I found it a couple months ago. My sister found this one that is good for pain, for back pain and stuff. And I use it occasionally for back pain, but it doesn't get you high. And I'm not into anything that makes me not me. In other words, if you have to get high to live, or drunk to live, that's something that I don't do, and I don't want to be not in control of things. I feel it's important to be in control of things. So for some people, if they want to get high, that's fine, but I have no interest in that.
How about a divorce? Do you think more people are okay with it, or think it's wrong?
I think divorce is a necessity. I know that certain religions you can't get divorced. I think that it's important, if you don't get along with that person, you shouldn't be in that relationship. And that's really the bottom line, is that regardless of what religion says about it, you can't keep two people involved in a relationship that isn't working, because it's not going to get any better. It's just going to get worse, and somebody's going to get hurt.
Well, you know what I always say, if my wife believed in divorce, I wouldn't be married right now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you're lucky. You've got a good woman, and that's important too. I mean, the thing is, a lot of young kids don't really they may get into a relationship too soon, and I'm kind of guilty of that a little bit myself. I mean, I tend to want to move a little quicker than I should, but when it comes to marriage, my first marriage, I took a while. My second marriage, I took even longer, and this marriage, or this relationship I'm in now, I fell for this woman pretty quick, and we've been together for we're coming on 5 years, and this is and she's awesome, and I really appreciate her a lot, and probably more than she'll ever realize. But like I said, I'm not good at starting relationships, because if I didn't want to be with the person, there was a couple girls I dated for a while, but it wasn't really, like, after Pam died, I didn't have any interest in being in a relationship. I wanted to have friends to go out to eat with, and so I went out with a couple girls just to go out to eat and go to the movies, but not really. I didn't really have any attraction to the women as much as I did trying to heal myself. So it wasn't until I found I was working on this one relationship when I met this psycho that convinced me that she was the one, and I should start dating her, and that almost killed me, because she was the worst person in the world for me. We weren't compatible at all, and that was the worst 3 months of my life. and I swore then that I was never going to fall in love with another woman ever again. And ever again, if you're wondering, lasts about 6 months, and then you start looking at things again. No, then but then I found Christine, and I instantly liked what I saw, and I really fell for her a lot quicker than I should have, but I don't regret it, because she's perfect for me, and I'm glad that I'm with her, and I have no regrets about that. I have never really found someone that just when you met your wife, how long did it take you to realize that was the right one?
About 2 months.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
probably even quicker than that, but it was quick.
Yeah, I mean, it felt right. For some reason, it just felt right. I could feel that this was the person. And the thing is, the person that I met is not the person I'm with. And that was with her guard up. Now, once she let her guard down, I realized, wow, I hit the jackpot. It wasn't about money, but it was about that person. That person was, I felt she was the one, but I couldn't tell you why. I just knew that there was something. We both went through some bad relationships, and when she told me her story, I felt, wow, that's really weird. It's really, I mean, I couldn't relate to her situation, because we both had a significant other die on us hers died right in front of her. Mine died the day, when I came home from work and she was dead on the floor. But I mean, that's similar, and just different things that just the way that she thinks and her sense of humor is similar to mine, and it just the thing that we had to do is I felt that I could trust her fairly quickly, but she was reserved, and rightfully so. She had a lot of really that last one she had was really, really bad, and the first one she had was really, really bad, and it was just a thing that she had to learn to trust, and I felt that I could trust her right away almost. So, something about it.
How about being extremely rich?
I don't know what that is.
Billions of dollars.
I don't know what that is.
The Gallup says it's billions of dollars. 81% says it's okay.
I think it's okay.
If you listen to the news, you wouldn't think it was that either.
Well, the thing is, being extremely rich today and being extremely rich in the 70s or 80s, 90s, whatever. I mean, extremely rich back in the 70s, 80s, 90s was $500,000. Nowadays, $500,000 isn't going to get you very far. You should have $600,000 if you're going to retire. So
minimum.
Minimum. And for me, I mean, I think about that, and I think, well, am I rich or am I not rich? And then I think about when I think about people like Trump or Elon or those guys are even talking about like The Rock, people that have made $1 billion. I mean, geez, what's $1 million now? Nowadays, it doesn't mean anything. So as far as I'm concerned, it's not the same as it was then. But it's but I'm thankful for what I do have, and I know that I'm comfortable. I know that I'm going to be doing okay, and I know that things don't seem that way, but eventually, when I sit back and I think about it, I'm extremely happy that I took that sales job that I didn't want to take because I didn't want to do sales. I said I'd never do sales, and I've said that. Everyone always said, "What are you going to do after college?" And I'd say, "I don't know. I want to be a rock singer," and that didn't work out so well. But then they said, "Well, you'd be good at sales." No, I'll never do sales. I don't want to do sales. Guess what I did? I did sales for 30 years.
You did sales.
But the thing is, it's one thing to do sales if you do sales where you can't capitalize on doing sales. I don't know if you know, did I ever tell you my story about sales?
No.
When I first started there, I was really good at what I was doing. Now, I didn't know a whole lot about IBM type equipment. I did have an Apple because when I got out of the hospital with lung surgery, I didn't have a whole lot. I was like thinking my life was over. And that Apple computer that I won at the computer show, I went to a computer show. They had tickets, $3 for one ticket or $5 for two. I bought 2 tickets. I've never won anything in my life, and I won that computer. I thought, well, that's cool. Well, what I did was I learned everything I could do about that computer. That was an Apple IIgs. Then several years later, I got offered a job at the distribution company that I worked for. And they said, "Do you know anything about computers?" And I said, "Well, I have an Apple IIgs." And they said, "Okay." And they interviewed me, and they liked what they heard, and they taught me taught me about IBM compatible computers, and I picked it right up because I already knew what Apple computers were, and I became really good at it. Well, then a couple years in, we weren't making money yet. I was making, I want to say they hired me at like $8 or $9 an hour, maybe $10 an hour. Plus, there was no commission back then in the beginning, and they started adding commission. They started adding a territory. So then, eventually, my first territory was New England. I had New England. I had Boston, and I may have only had Boston in the beginning, and I started learning things, and then we had small commission. Then they had a situation where they would, the vendors would come in and say, for each monitor you sell, you get $1 or whatever it was. And then, so each vendor had their own thing. Well, there was, it was probably 95, I want to say 95. I owed a lot of money it might have been 93, 94. I owed a lot of money because when I split up with my wife, we both ended up losing a lot of money on the video store that we owned. I think it was $60,000 we owed on that, and her father paid, actually took the loan out. So I felt really obligated to pay him. So I owed him $30,000, and plus I took all of her bills except for her student loan, and other than that, we split the loan in half, and she got 30 and I got 30. So we had a thing where, as I had commissions, which were little, just a couple $100 a month, and then we had spiffs, which were when a dealer comes in and says, give you $1 or whatever it was for a monitor or whatever. And then we had commissions, we had spiffs, we had three ways of making money. I don't remember what the other one was, but anyway, we had a vendor come in and offer us a lot of money for the monitors one time. That month, I took off. I mean, I just did really well that month, and I made $8,000 on commission on spiffs. $8,000 for 1 month of spiffs, and I was like, "Wow, that was pretty cool. I wonder what I'll do next month." So the next month, I did $8,000 on spiffs, and I'm like, "Holy cow!" The next month, I did $6,000 on spiffs, and then they started capping the spiffs so that I couldn't do that anymore. I made that much money in 3 months. I ended up paying him off really quickly because I took all that money on spiffs, gave it right to my father-in-law. And from there on, all of a sudden I started realizing I know how to make money now. I don't care what my hourly is. I don't care what my commission is. The spiffs are where I'm going to make my money. Even though they capped the spiffs then, I kept finding new ways to make money. So, yeah, that's how I paid off all my loans. And after I paid off all my loans, I became I was caught up in everything. I stayed ahead. Once I got ahead, I stayed ahead. I bought my first house. I ended up buying, another vehicle and stuff. I didn't buy a new vehicle, though, till 2018. That's the first new vehicle I ever bought. So, but that's the story of how I got out of debt and how I started going on the right, and I started telling people, you got to get a job here. Oh, no, I don't want to do sales. Oh, yes, you do. Because it's not real sales. It's not like I have to go beat up new people. I worked with the same people all the time, and I started selling, finding a way to make them to buy the stuff that we were on spiff with, and that's how to do it. So I caught myself, and I, because of all that, and then of course the reason I got to retire early is in 2000, the company made they became an ESOP, and they started throwing money into their retirement plan, and the first couple years they dumped tons of money in there because when you become an ESOP, everybody owns the company, and they did the way that they calculated how much money you made was that everybody that was there for a certain period of time qualified. And then what they did was it depended on how long you were with the company. And by that time, I was with the company 10 years. How much money you made for the company and how much money you made from the company. And that's how they determined how much money. So because I was one of the top salespeople, I got a bigger chunk of the money. So I made enough to retire really quickly. I mean, not really quickly. I still had to work another 18 years, but it really paid off. That's why I was able to retire early.
How about drinking alcohol?
I don't see a reason for it. I never believed in alcohol. I didn't. Alcohol to me is a waste of money and a waste of time, and it is.
84% of the population thinks it's okay.
I think it's.
You're in the 16%.
I think that it's. I think when you're, I put alcohol with the same category as dangerous drugs. I'm not talking marijuana, I'm talking dangerous drugs, in that people don't do it in moderation. And I never understood the fascination with drinking. Drinking is horrible because I can't stand the taste, first off. Second off, once you lose your mind, I believe in being in control of everything I do. And if you're drinking, you're not really, you're not able to take control of your life. And I'm not saying that people that drink can't control their life, but when they're drunk, they can't control their life. So I've never been one that believes that you should do anything while you're not of 100% control of your life. So I'm not really pro drinking. So that's the answer of that.
How about IVF? You know what I mean? Intraverto fertilization.
Oh, I think if it's something you want to do, there's nothing, it doesn't hurt anybody. So sure, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, that's what most of the country thinks. 89% agrees with you. How about using contraceptives?
I don't have a problem with that.
91% of the country agrees with you. How about eating meat?
How about what?
Eating meat versus being a vegetarian.
Oh, I don't have any problem with either one. I mean, I won't. I'm not a vegetarian. But
4% are against me. Only 4% are against me.
I mean, if I think about it for periods of time, I sometimes feel bad about it. But for the most part, I think we've been eating meat for the majority of our existence on this planet. And I think that there is something to be said for that. I do have a little issue with how they handle the meat. In other words, the way that they treat the animal. But that's strictly, just the handling of the animal. I've got issues with that sometimes, like the way that they overcrowd the animal and stuff like that and all that. But for the most part, I'm okay with everything.
And lastly, in between 2015 and 2025, vinyl is making a comeback. Digital downloads have decreased, CDs have decreased, and streaming is the main way we listen to music today.
Right.
But vinyl is making a comeback.
Okay. Do you want my opinion on this?
Yeah, I want your opinion on vinyl.
My opinion is you can't scratch digital.
So you're in favor of streaming?
I am in favor of streaming. I don't like the idea that my CD sales are down, but they are, and they're going to remain down. I think that all those people that say that they hear a difference, they're better people than I am, because I just like the music and it sounds good, and if you turn it up loud enough, it don't matter. I don't think that there's I don't think there's that much of a difference that it would warrant me wanting vinyl. Vinyl to me is not an answer. The answer is CDs or digital. I think digital is much better than vinyl. I know there's a difference, but I don't really see the difference or hear the difference enough to make it worth spending money on vinyl. I think vinyl's just is a highly expensive thing.
I'd rather play Spotify than
that's what I'm
buy
saying.
vinyl.
I'm more into convenience, and I think that the difference between the sounds, you might hear a difference, but I'm not listening to the music that closely. I'm listening to the music, for what the story is, for me, I'm into stories. I'm into what the song is about. I'm not into the yeah, party. That's not me. None of my songs are ever going to sound like that. But I am into the structure of the song and what it's all about and what the song's trying to tell you, what the story is. As far as the quality, when I did my first CD is before when most of the equipment out there was analog, and I remember telling my producer that there was this new thing out. It's called an MP3. He said, "Yeah, I heard of it. I don't know much about it." I said, "Well, it's really cool. You get to put your music wherever you want." And I put it on a little, I guess back then it was a digital player, because they didn't really have, like, this is how new it was. It was like early 90s. So nobody knew what an MP3 even was at that point. And he was a producer, and he's like, I don't know. I don't know what it's all about. And I played it for him, and he was like, it's not going to be any kind of quality. He listened to that, and back then it was not the highest quality MP3, but he was impressed. And if he's impressed, that gives me reason to be impressed too, because he's a producer. That's what he did for a living. So, and then he ended up getting digital equipment, and stories ends there. So
well, the other thing about streaming is the amount of songs I have, I could never afford on vinyl.
Right, sure. And the thing is, the amount of room that they take. Now, the bad thing is that the sales are really not there. I mean, because when you're saying streaming, you're listening on Spotify or whatever, and I listen to YouTube. But the thing is, I would love to have copies of the songs, and I do have copies of the songs that I really, really want, but I don't have copies of anything new. And I would rather have a copy of it so I can put it on my own playlist that I can carry with me, rather than have to, put it on YouTube Music and put it on a playlist or whatever there. I like to have control, as you can tell by everything I've said tonight. I like to be in control of things. I like to control what songs playing which time and things like that. And you don't really have that if you're on, like, Spotify. You can make a playlist on Spotify, but the once you stop hanging out with Spotify, when a new
you lose it.
Platform, that's right, and you don't get to keep it. Yes. And I like to have my music that I can listen to it whenever I want, however I want. If I own the song, I can take it from platform. I can take it from one MP3 player to another MP3 player, and I still have it. And you don't have that once if you're stuck in the streets and you have your MP3 player, you don't hear that new song and can't keep that new song. You don't have money to buy that new song, or you don't have money to listen to that old song that you loved that you had on Spotify that you're no longer in Spotify for. There are ups and downs about that. There are good things about that, because you have an unlimited number of music with Spotify or YouTube Music or whatever. But to me, I would like to have my own copy of something. So that's my opinion.
And it is $9.59.
Yes, here we are.
I took over the show tonight, Michael. That's the first time I've done this.
Yes, you did, and I do have a couple things I do want to do quickly about things that you were talking. Well, that I should have done it on your category because it's stuff that is political or whatever. One of which is President Trump makes a joke about Chuck Norris's death.
Oh yes,
there should be no
another one. I didn't even bring that up. It made me so mad.
It's he's a president. He shouldn't be doing jokes about anybody's death. But it was if we do it, it's different because we would do it differently because we like Chuck Norris and respected him. But Trump said, "Wow, Chuck Norris, he was a great guy. He was really a good, tough cookie." And it says, "You didn't want to fight him. I can tell you, he was tough. He was a great guy. He was a great supporter. He was a pro-Trump guy." And he said that's too bad. He also offered his highest respects to the Norris family. And what did he say? I don't even remember what he said. That he said something that I thought was disrespectful. But if he had stopped there, that would have been okay. But he made a joke about his death, and I don't know that I would have. I don't think that one person did say. I will say that somebody said something that was pretty funny. They said Chuck Norris didn't die; he just moved on to the next level, like a video game. That was pretty funny. But that I liked. Jesse Ventura makes a bold claim about Donald Trump's assassination attempt. He was saying that he actually had it set up so that the guy didn't actually have an assassination attempt. He said it was fake, like a wrestling match. That I thought was really bizarre to even think about.
Well, he paid with his life, so it was a pretty bad choice of.
Yeah. Well, no. I'm saying Jesse Ventura said that Trump's assassination was fake and that it didn't really happen. That there wasn't really a shooter.
Didn't really happen.
Yeah. And let's see here. The DOJ says it erroneously relied on an ICE memo justifying immigration courthouse arrests. That was something that I've had in here for my stuff that I wanted to talk about for the past couple of weeks, just to get it off my plate. And I don't know what this memo was, but they said that it was that the DOJ says that it erroneously relied on ICE memo justifying immigration courthouse arrests. To me, that the immigration thing, I understand the need for the immigration thing because there are a lot of people living here that shouldn't be living here. I just think that I don't know, it just kind of maybe overkill. The Justice Department sues Minnesota over the state's policy allowing transgender girls to participate in female high school sports. I agree with that. That transgender girls should not participate in female sports. I don't care. Transgender is still transgender, they're not actually genetic female. So we talked about that before. I don't, let's see what else.
The Olympics have banned biological males from competing in women's sports.
And it should be. I mean, I'm not, I don't, it's not that I have anything against.
No, you're not anti-trans. I don't think that is an anti-trans position to not allow them to compete in women's sports.
Yeah, it's just.
I think it's a logical position.
If they want to have a transgender section of the Olympics, I don't have a problem with that, because then you're on an equal footing with somebody. It's just a matter of being equal. If you want to talk about being equal, you should be equal with your peers. So there's also a Cuban oil relief thing that happened. A Russian tanker arrived in Cuba, carrying 730,000 barrels of oil. So that helped them a little bit.
Things are going to last long. it isn't going to last.
Well, it's something, though. It says here he reinstated the effective blockade in January, citing national security concerns. The oil can be refined into other products, blah, blah, blah. That was, I just wanted to get that off my plate, too, because I wanted to, we just have been, just want to kind of get rid of a robot accompanied Melania Trump to a global technology and education summit. That's kind of cool. Let's see here. It was Trump's proposed presidential library may double as a hotel. I don't know if that's still the case, but that was something that was said. Okay, then we have that one we can hold off. Oh, here's the Bondi thing you were talking about. I did have an article on that, but you already talked about that. See, NASCAR team president admits financial hit as Donald Trump decisions takes toll on racing. I guess as the prices of oil go up, so does the prices of the fuel for running that. Here's one. U.S. economy adds 178,000 jobs in March, defying expectations. The hiring market rebounded from a loss of 133,000 jobs in February, according to Labor Department, and published yesterday. That figure is roughly 3 times what economists had forecast, with the healthcare sector responsible for much of the growth. So that was nice. We added 178,000 jobs. This was
always a good thing.
And I don't think we talked about this either, but I maybe talk about U.S. Suspected drug smuggler to China in rare extradition. The move, reported yesterday by China's state news agency, marks the first such exchange of suspected criminal in recent years. It comes ahead of the President Trump's visit to China in May. Trump imposed tariffs last year to press Beijing to curb exports of chemicals to make fentanyl, leading cause of drug overdose. Separately, Cuba's pardoning 2010 prisoners, possibly to appease to Trump, which has imposed an effective oil blockade. So that's now, I can get rid of that. So let's see, anything else I need to worry about? Let's see. Vice Chairman, Chairwoman of State Democratic Party killed. Did you talk about that? You didn't talk about that. Vice Mayor Nancy Matea Bowen, also chairwoman of the State Democratic Party, was found dead at her home in what police are calling a domestic violence incident. Her husband, Stephen Bowen, was arrested Wednesday and charged for premeditated murder. Yeah, let's see here. And then Trump says it's not possible for the U.S. to pay for Medicaid, Medicare, and daycare. We're fighting wars. So that was something else he wanted to talk about. Okay, we're getting rid of these things that I wanted to get rid of. There's not many more. Okay, we can hold that up. We can hold that. Do we have anything else? You talked about that? Okay, TSA. Okay, then. Okay, we don't need to talk about that. That stuff's old news now. It's been sitting here for a while. I actually think I have a clean plate now. Yeah, those 2 things we can hold off for next week. And, Elon, want to talk about the confidential. Okay, Elon Musk's SpaceX confidentially files for an IPO with expectation to go public this summer. SpaceX could be the first company to enter the public market with a $100 trillion or with a $1 trillion valuation.
I know, it's incredible.
That's just unbelievable. Yeah.
I would love to be on the ground floor of that, but not going to happen.
Yeah, just wild. So that was a good one too. I wanted to make sure I talked about that stuff too. So, and I have a bunch of other entertainment ones, but that's okay. We can go without those. And
well, let's see if I don't monopolize next week. It'll be all right.
No, that's cool. I didn't mind it at all. I always have extra stuff. I want to talk about the Illuminati next week because there's a little information on that. And here's one we should talk about though. Kanye is in trouble again, as always. He was blocked from entering the UK. Wireless Festival canceled because he was the main guy there for that. I found that interesting. He has no permission to enter the country over backlash. Formerly known as Kanye West, headlining London's Wireless Festival, PepsiCo, Anheuser-Busch, and Diageo Point pulled their sponsorships. That's pretty interesting that he's burned so many bridges. That's got to be really horrible when you burn that many bridges.
But he's done it to himself.
Yeah. Yeah, he messed that up. Well, I can do that next week. Could do that next week. That's next week. Okay, that's next week. Who was it? I forget who it was now. It says Rockers. That was the one I wanted. Rockers returning to stage after a series of canceled shows due to the lead singer's illness. We're talking about a chance of seeing the Goo Goo Dolls. They canceled 3 shows. They're going back on the road now that everything's working out. So I can get rid of that. I'm trying to find, there's one here that said Deep Purple's going back on the road. That sounds really cool. We talked about, we did talk about that one. We talked about the Fleetwood Mac one. Super Mario Brothers, the movie, opened. It's at, this is hard to believe, but it's true. $370 million in their opening weekend.
Well, my grandson Lakin saw it. He was in the first showing of the first day that it was open.
I would love to go see that. I just got to get time to do it. I've been so busy. I've really seriously.
Well, Lakin loved it, but he was an 8-year-old,
Yeah, yeah, just crazy. Here it is. Journey singer Arnel Pineda says he tried to quit the band twice due to personal problems. That's that kid that guy that they met in the Philippines that replaced Steve Perry. I mean, I got to think this guy, he was living in the Philippines, so he wasn't making any kind of money. And then all of a sudden, he's making money, and everyone's probably like, no, you can't leave now because we want you to be our singer. You can't just leave now. And he had to make a decision whether or not, he was going to leave the band. So he's tried to leave a couple times. So I think that's all I really needed to do. There was just those couple things that I wanted to talk about. There is something about, I think I got to find it, but I'll do it for next week. But I believe Deep Purple's going back on the road. That's kind of cool. With Ian Gillian.
Yeah, that is cool.
With Ian Gillian, which is my favorite singer. So, all right. Well, we can leave now because I got enough of that stuff done that I can clean up my inbox. So, appreciate what you did. I really didn't mind it at all, by the way. Didn't mind you taking the reins and running with it. So, yeah, it was kind of cool. But,
I like the way it went too. I just worry that you have too much left over.
Oh, it don't matter.
I kind of ran through mine.
Yeah, but the thing is, it comes down to this. we ran over, but a lot of this stuff I use as fill anyway. Some of the stuff I wanted to do because it's time sensitive, but the rest of the stuff isn't time sensitive. So I just do it next week. So it's not a big deal. And by the way, I'm not going to Vegas, so we're going to have a show that week.
Okay. That'll work.
I don't think I told you that yet, so yeah, things changed to what that I was going to go, and I ended up not. We're going to end up going to SummerSlam, I think, instead, because that's in Minneapolis, so it'll be probably easier to deal with.
It's not as far as drive either.
Right, I like that. I thought 30 some hours on the road it was just a lot. And my buddy got a job at a casino, so he had to be training this week, and he was pretty sure he wasn't going to be able to get to go anyway, and I wasn't going to go alone. Not for something that big. So, all right. Well, that's it. That's it. That's what we did our job here. So, good show. A lot of good stuff.
Good show.
A lot of good stuff. A lot of good, fun stuff. So that's always fun to get in these things that you're thinking and things that I don't know. And if you get a chance, check out I can send you those QR codes so you can check them out. You can check
I like that.
They're kind of fun. And those things aren't done. They're a work in progress. And then we're going to do one for the school and stuff, and I'll probably do. I saw your name is not Doug, it's Do. How'd that happen? I didn't even catch that till now. Well, your name is Do now.
Yeah.
Why didn't you say something to me?
It wasn't important.
It was. It's important. I got to fix it anyway because we're going to use it next time, or maybe not next time, but the next time we use it, we want to make sure it's right, because then I don't have to. Once they're set up right, they'll do everything the right way. So I just got to get them set up right the first time. All right. Well, that's it. We're finished. We're gonna call it quits. Doug, I will talk to you soon.
Okay.
We will see this show to the next whatever. All right, here we go. All right. See you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.